Where's my window capture? Bows. Where's my window capture? There it is. Really intense show today. We have at least 40. I say 40 because that's what it was this morning. And let's just see, actually. Let's just do a quick check, see what it has evolved into. It has evolved to 40. Okay, so it's 40. And we might get somebody else. Anyways, this is the most I've ever done. However, I have structured my day so that I will have the time to go through each of these bad boys one by one. Okay, and we have some very cool and notable graduations. Some longtime dojoers making it. And, I'd like to say all graduations are equal, but if, at least in my mind as a fan, if you have worked for a long time and had periods of frustration and still kept at it, and then you eventually made it, as someone who themselves has been playing for decades, ups and downs and everything, that's what I'm looking for as a fan. Hi, Pepper Chess. Let's first look at Semper Jazz. Semper Jazz says he's gone up to 4 to 500. Did some good work there and says, I was looking to find a structure for my learning and progress, and I'm happy to say that Dojo is exactly what I was looking for. The task per cohort gave me a clear direction to what has to be practiced next to progress. Also greatly enjoying the Discord community. Getting plus reviews, that's reviews from somebody higher rated than you, is always easy, and highly appreciating the spontaneous offers for review. It's stunning. After getting over ChessCom 650 Rapid, I first thought to delay my graduation since I still miss a couple of blunder and longer games, but then I got advice from plus reviewers to just graduate, absolutely right, to be able to continue doing more Polgar in everyone's first chess workbook. Greatly also enjoyed the Tuesdays with the weekly sub 1000 community session. Dude, this is great, man. This is great. By the way, one thing we've done, hopefully it'll be cool, but on Twitter, we're going to put we have so many of these cool testimonials, just put one a day out there. Boom. Say where they graduated from, just the text of what they did. Really cool. So, Generation X 52-year-old. All right, Voss. I'm going to be 52 a couple months, dude. Couple months. Let's follow this, dude. Okay. So, normalized to 414. Beautiful graph. And we'll look at the activity. We'll see how they got here. Some good work, dude. Some good work. 30 hours. That's nothing to sneeze at. Where are they cheating on us? Okay, Andros Toth is a friend of the dojo. You're allowed that one. Some tactics on the side as well. Click over here. Good. And games analysis. So hopefully we'll see some games. End game, middle game strategy. Great. Yeah. All right, let's look. So we got 3 games. Let's take a look. Wow. Let me just say visually. I'll tell you guys what. I'll tell you guys the inside baseball on me and Pruess's argument that I had. I yelled at him. So he's doing a little small chapter in the book, How to Analyze Your Games. And he did this thing which, from a distance, seemed right. It was if you're in this rating band, you should do just this little bit of time. If you do a higher rating band, you should have more time. And I was like, David, go and look at these annotations. And I can tell you that the people in the lower cohorts, it's not as if they are doing just less time with their games. That's just not true. Dude, they are putting in a bunch of work. Now, you could say, well, some games don't have this much work, but that's true also of the upper cohorts, right? The people here, they're doing great, man. Okay, so this is a 30-0 game. If I was going to say anything, it's easier, maybe more rewarding to do a longer analysis on a game in which you actually played a longer amount of time. This is a 30 game. Actually, let's see if we get a time graph. Beautiful time graph. And actually something I'm very happy with here is that Semper used all of his time. And his opponent, as is typical in these online games, is not going to use their time. So I'm hoping we wasted him. All right, let's get into it. Hi, Andrew Rimmer. Andrew Rimmer, I think I saw him. I think I saw Andrew Rimmer in this graduation today. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Everything so far. I'm just caring about logical moves, and you're playing logical moves. And then that's the first move, of course, I don't like. So, as I say a lot, the ability to learn to not make unnecessary pawn moves, it's just not a hard skill to learn. You can learn it. Blundering pieces, that's harder to learn. So then the question becomes, what should you do? And what you should do is you should default to some kind of developing move here, even if it's something, even if it's that or that or that or that. You could also maybe mess with the bishop, but this move doesn't do anything, and your opponent, likewise, that doesn't really do anything either. What should they do? Default move should probably be queen e2. Okay. Again, we're just wasting time. Wasting time. Fine. Queen b3. Now, I don't know if it's that bad. Because knight a5, I don't know if it's that well placed on the side of the board. I like that you developed your queen. A little weird. Good move. Okay. Good. Doesn't do anything. Good. Oh, that wasn't it. Bam! Give me that queenie, baby. Now let's see how long White thought on that move. See, Black has actually thought quite a bit here already. And Black is just, dude, not even thinking at all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. By the way, one of the reasons I approved of this message, knight h5, is whenever you have a, it's not just about the bishop, it's about unmasking our bishop. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see the technique now. Good move. Thank you very much. Tasty, tasty critters. Very good. Very good. Now we're just going to trade everything. This guy's just, it's yard sale over here. Thank you. I'll take everything, sir. Thank you, sir. They're good. Good. I like that. Trade it all off, boss. Oh, yeah. Checkmate! Welcome to the dojo. Now, I'm sure not every game goes this easy for you, but in terms of beating, what you can see is like you're beating somebody who has close to your rating. This is the way it should look. They're going to waste time and they're going to hang stuff, right? You tanked for loads like between moves 5 and 10. You were really tanking. Let's go back and see what was that all about. Yeah, so you thought a bit here, and then here, and then notice, this happens for GMs too, when you don't know what to do in the position. That's the time where you will often tank, right? And so you and everybody else will have grief in this kind of position. Let's see how long you thought. Yeah, you thought for 4 whole minutes there. This kind of position, like, okay, I got my pieces out, but now I don't know what to do, right? And so when you don't know, then it's really important to default to development, okay? So like just one of these bishop moves. The knight h5 I would consider a developing move in some senses because we're unmasking the bishop and we'll trade off this guy. Okay, so really well done, Semper Jazz. I like your rating graph. I think you have good chances of making the next cohort. Playing only since October 23. All right. My age, dude. My age. We got a bunch of old dudes on here. I like it. Okay, so let's go back to the news feed. View all. Next up, we've got, I was going to say Oslo, but it looks like it's Osio. Let's click. Nice rating graph. We'll follow. Activity. And we're going to go back one. So they did a lot of tactics. Good. Everyone's first chess workbook. People are loving that stuff. So let's see if we got a game. We got a game. Great. So now you guys hear at every graduation show, they talk about the opening. I'm like, ooh, just make principled moves. So for example, your opponents, if they start playing moves like this, there's no reason to be studying openings. Just bring out your stuff. Good. Weird. Now, this move is not ideal because you're blocking your e-pawn. Okay. Good. And they hang their first bit of material. Okay. Good. Good. Let's just take it all. Now, bishop h3. Okay. Good. This move makes no sense. Let's just stress that. This makes no sense. So, you're doing great. And now what needs to happen? You need to get this guy out. So the default move for us needs to be e6. Okay? You could think about other fancy things. And you can think about, well, maybe something's wrong with e6. But you need to play something to get this bishop out. You could play g6 if you wanted to. I like e6 better, but still, you need to get this dog out. Okay? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. We see now why you played b6. You want to somehow play c5. It's not helping, though. You need to get your pieces out. Now, okay. Let's just mention that bishop d5 was also interesting there. I don't understand that move. You could have taken with the rook. Finally, just makes my life so much better. Now I play e6. I just feel so much better about it. Good move. That's a bad move. What? What? Okay, but even if there wasn't a knight on b1, we still wouldn't want to do this. Okay, so, by the way, put question marks and exclams next to your moves. Oh, now you're just losing your mind. They should play en passant here. Oh. It's just getting weirder and weirder. Just take the pawn, bud. Just take it. And we're hanging our knight. Bishop takes e3. Queen d1 mate. Oh no, baby. Bang. Check. Is it not mate? It's pretty close. That's pretty close. I actually thought it was mate. I was just so happy to bring my queen down there. Yeah. Check to the miserable. Check to the miserable. Check to the miserable. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Uh-oh. Queen e7 mate. Right there, bud. Bang. Oh. Osios, está aus Deutschland. Remis in the end. Why don't you have a big chance here is my question. You go king f7, queen h7, rook g7. What's going on? Yeah. Okay. So there it is. One of the things we can say, Osia, is there's some basics that you can learn that will improve your game immensely. Okay? One is get your bros out. That's not where the game is being decided. The game is being decided on people missing basic stuff. But Getting your bros out is not a hard skill to learn. You can do it. Next, in your annotations, if you pay more attention to the hanging of the pieces, right? And here it says, we both missed checkmate to win a few times. That maybe was the computer telling you after. It's really good if you go with your own head and go in there and tell yourself, we will both be missing stuff, and I just need to try to find it, right? Like at this level, both players are going to hang stuff several times during the game, and then you just need to find it. That is your path. Okay, let's continue. So next up, we got S. Reed, also going into the 400 to 500 cohort. Okay, cool. Let's follow S. Reed. Pretty nice progression. And we'll see how they did it to get here. Oh, lots of work, dude. Lots of work. What are they doing non-dojo? Chess media. Okay. So like probably maybe YouTube videos or something like that. Lessons on ChessCom. Okay, look at all this stuff. It's broken down pretty good. And then we got tactics. That's great. All right, so it looks like we're going to have some, actually, let's click on the games. Blunder games, great. So I want to stress this in relationship to the last game we just saw. If you play some quick games at 15 minutes and then just focus on who's hanging what, that is what you need for this level. All right, that's why we instituted the blunder games. So, no games. And then put a game in, buddy. Put a game in. Come on, S. Reed, let's go. Hi, Abdul. Hi, Halgilda. Hi, Jelly Beans. I'm going to call you Jelly Beans even though I know it's actually Yelly Beans. So next up we have Dasliari. Let's do the next cohort above. Let's click. That's a wave function right there. And I think we're not ready to graduate Dasliari. See, you got 535. Yeah, so wasn't time to graduate. Next up we have Olivier. Excellent freedom of choosing what you like, puzzles, endgames, openings to advance. Still discovering the dojo. I'm lucky of having a lot of the books that are used by the dojo. Okay, good. Okay. Cool. Looks great for Olivier here. Yeah, okay. Normally I'd read that all loud, but I was just scanning. All right, we'll go back one. Boom. So, basically, Olivier is advancing pretty quickly. And let's see. He's played some games, so probably we're not going to see any games in the database. Somebody's yelling at me on the Discord. Okay. So, games? Oh, we do got one. Well, look, Olivier, buddy, put it in here, man. Put it in here. Oh, no, I take it back. So this one he's annotated for this cohort. I was looking for the last cohort. Okay, let's take a look. Poor move. Okay. By the way, we have some clock times here. This is good. It looks like a 30-0 game. Yeah. So one of the standard mistakes that beginners make is they move their queen around too much. And this opening is not nearly as bad as it should be. But the queen definitely needs to maybe go to one of these squares just to be a little safe. What's the problem with bringing your queen out early? You get attacked a bunch and then you lose time while you are attacking because your opponent will be developing and attacking at the same time, which is why we don't want to block our own people in here. And the default move should be bishop e2, knight f3. And this queen will eventually will gain, either it's going to move on its own because the e-pawn wants to be played, or we'll gain time on it for a variety of reasons. The easy one to see is that our rook is going to come here and give the queen a whack. Okay, so losing time. Okay. Losing time. Very important to see. Black is losing time, moving a developed piece twice. Bishop d2. Yeah. What should we do? You should play bishop e3, gaining time. Frisky. Okay, there's with your plan. All right, so now we're going to have a spicy game. First question would be that bishop e3 move. Notice, what's the problem bishop e6? We saw this last game. Now the bishop on f8 is probably going to have to go to g6. Oh, losing time. It is not attacked. So, moves to consider here would have been bishop e3, bishop g2, or f4 with this intention of freeing the bishop later. So one of those moves are going to be the right move. I want to stress, the default moves aren't that hard to find. That's why this time in the opening should be something that everybody can do. Good move. Good. Interesting. Now, is it a free pawn? Some calculation will have to be done. The question, of course, is your bishop toast after b6? You know, I don't know. It's definitely a question that needs to be asked. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Again, what is knight d5? Moving develop piece twice. Now, I'd rather you save your bishop, but okay, I understand bishop d2. Oh, he's going in. Defensive awareness is up. Okay. f4, very good move. c6. Now, in this position, I would have wanted the following cool variation. Check, here, here, bam! And I think you got him. I think you got him because you're tagging this thing. So c6 happens. f5. Don't know if this helps you because he needs to move the bishop anyway. Frisky, I like it. We could have done that last move. Oh, c4, I kind of like it. Now if queen a1, you have king c2. Now, note to Benny. The bishop on f8, no one knows what it's doing. And I think king c2 is going to win the queen. King c2. That's what happens. That's what happens when you don't develop your stuff, son. Welcome to the dojo. That doesn't do anything. And now rook a1, please. Check. Your move is just as good. Very nice. So, one of the things to really stress here, okay, is both players were bad about developing their pieces, but black was especially bad. And it's really like a lesson, you could say, optically, visually, that the queen lost so much time and then ended up here like a chump while her man was defended, while these people weren't even in the game. So black is playing down 8 points of force. And the queen, who knows, was on its little journey. All right. Thank you, Jelly Beans. Thank you. So, Krabby Crab did great in the tournament, MD Knight. He's graduating today, and I saw you graduating today too, so we're pumped on that. So, Olivier, that's some basics right there. One of the cool things too about these graduations is you can see, like, the players in this range, they have the same problems. It's the same thing, right? It's not like somebody, it's not some story like we're all special snowflakes. We all have our special problems. No, everyone has the same problems. Okay. So, next up, we have Nevada 1, who I remember graduated before. In my years of playing chess, I've never heard of sparring positions. I spent a lot of time over the last few weeks sparring the middle game positions with a fellow dojo member, as suggested by David. I was amazed how quickly we both improved. We both learned that first get your pieces onto good squares before attacking made all the difference. Yes. I also play casual OTB weekly at the local library. Not only am I winning routinely every game against the experienced players, I'm also much better explaining my moves to our younger players. Thanks to the dojo. All right. Great, man. Great. So, I love these notes. I might not read them all the time, but I love it. And, it helps me understand where people are coming from, So, obviously a beautiful graph. Look at that thing. Look at that graph. So then we're going to look activity. Go back one, see how they did it. Lots of tactics, looking good. Even a couple pulled our mates in two, just a couple. And boom. It looks like there's some games in analysis. Great. Well, let's see. So this is Nevada. Oh, Going Mental's in the chat, so we're going to go with Going Mental. Fine. Weak. So this is a standard mistake that's actually kind of hard to understand. Right, so bear with me a second. First of all, it's got to be said that this loses a tempo, right? Okay. Next, what's going to happen in an interesting way is this rook developed? Kind of, but not really. I would definitely, if I was white, I would consider playing rook e1 if f2 wasn't attacked. So now when this goes down, what I want you to see is that the black lost this developing move, lost that developing move, lost that developing move. And then there's a second trick to it. But I want you to focus on the fact now that white is actually much better developed, okay? Now, here's the next thing. It's a little bit deeper, but I'm going to say it anyway because I can't help myself. And this was the trick that had me, this is a GM knowledge thing. So, when you trade two pieces for a rook and a pawn, ostensibly it's the same, right? It's the same amount of material count. But it's really important to see that the rook's power increases only as the game progresses. Later in the game, when a lot of pawns are off the board and the rook's screaming, a lot of those positions, the rook can be even better than the bishop and knight. Here, though, oh my lord, look at those white minors. They're so powerful. Okay, what am I going to say about knight d4? Not developing. Okay? We should consider taking this bad boy. I don't know if it works, but it would be something to consider. Not developing. Helping white to the square they want to be with the bishop. Good. Okay, I'm okay with that move. You could have also gone back. Queen f3 is fine, but with going back, you're going to say, well, my rook will land here and assault the queen. That's fine, though. Boom, boom. You are doing fantastic. That doesn't help. Fine. Bishop h6, also a good move. So there, what I'm sensing is that you were terrified of c4 winning your bishop. And so then you play c4. Is he threatening to play c4, though? I don't think so. So in this position, it's time to start thinking about how we're going to organize our pieces. I think the most natural plan, two of them, I guess I would say, starting with this, you could also play rook g1 intending knight f5. Personally, I guess I like this one. Bam! And we are going to nail him with, we're going to come in here, improve our knight, and it's not an easy road for Mr. Black. Whack! We got this, all this action going on here. Okay. So one of the things that we see about loss of time is it's not like people are purposely losing on time. It's not like they're doing it to spite me or something. They have something, there's some phantom threat in their head. I'm sure Black has been hosed at some point with the move c4 in their chess career. I get it. But, you know, if you hear me screaming at you for loss of time, don't do it. We need to get, what do we need? We need to get our rook in, and a move like rook g1 intends to also get our knight in. Okay. Looks like a loss of a pawn to me. Okay. Thank you for the pawn. And now rook c1. You are definitely ahead, but I don't like rook c1 because it's passive. I think far stronger would be bishop e5, where you're not only defending the pawn, but you're really looking, you're looking at that king, you know. In fact, bishop e5 has a direct threat of knight f5 and knight h6 mate, you know. It's a real thing. Like, let's say, I don't know, I do this. Well, let's do it just to point it out. I don't know. Let's put it here. Go. Actually, Kraai, just leave. I'll just show one version here. And the guy's going to get mated, okay? He's going to get mated. G8, GF, rook G1. That's what he deserves with those bishops. All right. Sample variation. Doesn't make any sense. Knight E2. Now, if you were going to move your knight back, then that would have been the time, would have been better instead of rook C1. Right? Time is also important here. Okay, I like that move. I don't like that move. Let's take it. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Let's take it. Very good. Doesn't make any sense. Fancy. Oh, fine. You could have also pushed past. Doesn't make any sense. Is it time for check to the miserable king? See, check to the miserable king, you unpin yourself and you get ready to smack this daddy-o. Oh, very nice. Okay, let's take a look at the, actually there's no clock times here. So, that was a good game for us to think about. We had a lot of loss of time. Typical, right? And then this thing about knight f2, Mental's in the chat, and right, the very typical mistake. Yeah, and it's an art form to know when it's a correct and when not. But the main thing to see is you're losing time when you make this thing. You know, the knights and the bishops were developed; they go away. The rook is fine. Okay. All right, good, Nevada. Let's look quickly at Nevada again. Look at that graph, dude. Just really great. Okay, so let's go back. And now we got Sean. Pretty nice, but Sean, I don't know. It doesn't look right, Sean. It doesn't look right. Okay, but he's okay with Lee chess. USCF isn't there either. All right, let's say he's graduated. Let's say he's graduated. Okay, activity, not a lot. Games, we got one game. No, that's not a game. Okay, so I think, Sean, my guess is you're kind of new to the dojo and you hit graduate. I get it. I get it. And hit these other graduations too. Right. So, just for the record, right? This, if you want to, if this is where you play, then that's where you should use as where what your cohort is, right? Okay, great. So next up we have, I don't know how to pronounce that one. I really love solving the Bulgar mate in twos. Now, by the way, it's interesting, right? We're moving up the ladder. We're doing mate in ones, everyone's first chess workbook. Now we're going to start moving in mate in twos. I like it more than playing games. Sometimes they're really hard to solve, but right now I reached puzzle 525, and only 2 times it was so hard that I could not find the solution. Sometimes I annotate my thought process in a personal lead chess study while solving the puzzles that at first seemed too hard. And with the easier puzzles, I write down a short story in a notebook using up to 15 words about what I see in the puzzle. Up until now, I have tried to annotate about 15 games in a private lead chess study, but I feel this is very hard to do. It is hard to find words, and I feel I need more time reading annotations of others to be able to make good annotations myself. Nevertheless, because I am about to graduate, I've decided to publish one of my annotated games. Great. And one of the things we're trying to stress in this book about how to analyze your games is the first couple times you do it, you're going to have that feeling that you just described there, right? It's going to be like, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? And looking at what people, especially in your cohort, have done. Golden. That's the whole point of our book. We're not showing you GM level analysis, maybe some at the end, but we're really looking at cohort by cohort. What does it look like? What does a good annotation look like at 800 to 900? And if you look at those other people, you're like, oh, I get it. I understand. This is something I can do. Okay. So here we go. How come Mubot is always supporting Kostya's travel, dude, and his avocado toast? What about me, buddy? Huh? What about me? Jeez. Come on, buddy. All right, here's Reuter. That's probably wrong. I keep thinking it's maybe like night in Dutch. Maybe? I don't know. So we got some activity. We're going to go back one. Looks like a lot of tactics and stuff. Okay. Good. And we got these games. Here's Reuter's first annotation. Okay. So English, not their native language, but pretty well written so far. Here it comes. This was a daily game, and I kept my vow of taking at least 10 minutes per move. Great, great. So here we go. So far, so good. Okay. So, it would be good to talk about why e6 is weird, right? The whole idea of the Caro is to get the bishop out, and now black blocks it in. Fine. Now, with these daily games, I think you're allowed to use the database, I think. In any case, I think that might be part of the background while we're talking about the moves like this, castles. I think your position's great because that bishop on c8 is terrible. Little weird. A sin against the principle. Dogma, principle. To develop pieces. All right. Now, it is kind of interesting, f4. I'm going to give you 2 as interesting, but it can't be as good as the simple knight f3. No, that's bad. What do we need you to do? We need you to develop. Good. Oh, a little weird. Maybe we'd want to have c3 there. Okay. Okay, now we have ourselves a spicy game. We got ourselves a spicy game. I'm okay with this. Very interesting position. Opposite sides castling. And the reason you should, even though it's hectic, that you should feel good about your chances is because this guy's a lump. Yeah, not good. Good decision. Good. You could have moved your queen, but this is stronger. Open it up. And now we want to move. Let's just see. So actually, let me pause for a second. White's doing great. I'm going to say probably winning. There's many moves here which look great. And we're just hoping he played one of them. So a rook to g1, h5, knight g5, even knight e5, a little bit more positional. But knight g5 looks kind of devastating, honestly. We're just going to say. Okay, let's see what he does. Oh. Expecting c5, I added defender to the d4 square. Yeah. So let me stress something here. Time is also important in the middle game. It's a little bit harder to learn than the opening because in the opening, the time to do what is time to get your boys out, right? In the middle game, it's a little bit less clear about the time to do what, right? It's a little less obvious. And in this position, well, black has left his king kind of all alone. So it is time to play a move like knight g5. It's going to get real pretty hot here. And they have to decide what they want to do. And it's not pleasant for a peasant. No, 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 no. We're coming in. Okay, bishop e1. Queen c7. Good move, attacking your f4 pawn. You go back. b5. Good. Now I'm hoping you play bishop d3 here. Good move. Not a good move. Check to the miserable king. Okay. Now it's time to put him away. The thing to observe here is that this is the good defender of the king, and we would like to get rid of that thing. I'm okay with dc5. It makes sense. Knight e5, I like it as well. Rook g1, probably also great. I don't like that. Again, time. So we want something like knight g5 or this check, or boom, let's get our rook in there. We know the rook needs to be involved. That was a bad move. Yeah. Good. Okay. And one of the cool things here is like maybe that those Polgar mates really helped you out here. You know, we got a basic mating pattern. Great. Okay. By the way, for a first annotation, fantastic. Fantastic. Let's read, for example, what you say after queen e4. I played queen e4 because I spotted several potential knight forks after knight g5 followed by knight e6, but these only work when bishop c8 no longer defends. Correct. Of course, white black is not forced to play bishop b7, so queen e4 did not really improve my position after all. Okay. Now this thing I want to stress with queen h5. It's a little highfalutin, okay? And it looks to me actually like computer speak. Because the reason it's powerful is that next move we'll play bishop b4. And the knight is pinned. Okay? But at this level, you're not going to see that kind of thing. Okay? That's like the computer's doing some super GM stuff. But if you play knight g5, or rook g1 first. Oh, buddy, we're crushing this fool. What is the lesson? Think about force count. Our force count is amazing here, and we just need to keep pounding, pounding against these squares until it falls. All right. What do I mean by force count? He's basically got 3 points of defense. We got the lady, the bishop, the knight. We need a rook. We need to bring everything there, and then good things will happen. All right, right turn. Am I right? You can tell me if I'm right later, if it means knight in Dutch. It probably doesn't. I'm just making stuff up. Happy graduation day, Sam. Yeah. Dude, Sam, Drew, we had this little thing last night. I just lost my mind and I went on Lee Chess to do our Dojo Lee Chess tournament, and Kostya was automatically like, dude, that's Lee Chess. We're not supposed to be there, boss. Get off, get off. And I was like, I already started this tournament. So, we did that. And the tournament actually, it was great that I did it because there was some like technical details we had to figure out. Anyways, I'm burying the lead. Sam, dude, drew me in our game. So probably her first draw against the GM, probably. Maybe there's some other chump GM she's drawn me for. Anyways, it was a fun time. And I think one thing we might do is start streaming to YouTube, and that way, honestly, I think it's a bigger audience anyway, and then we don't have to deal with the ChessCom stuff. Here we go. Old Freddy. So, Old Freddy's up to 910. Graduated already a couple times. Let's click. All right, that's some good work. So that's some good work right there. Good. Let's see if Old Freddy's got a game. We've got a couple. All right. Boom. Let me just click the next one and see if it's a little bit more involved. Okay. This optically, it looks like more of an annotation. Chestnut Evo. I don't know what that means. So, what is it about? It's about giving away time. Okay, listen. So at some point you've studied this opening, right? And you say, now I don't know this opening. But look, that's why we don't want you studying opening. Your opponent's going to do weird things, right? And even here, E6, like, my guess is, E5 is just a bad move. But my guess is you probably play a Sicilian with E6, and so then when he does this weird thing, you're playing E6 because that's what you're used to. But what's the natural move? Let's give him a whack. Let's give him a whack. Good. 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 Developing. That can't be right. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Nice, you're doing great. That one I think I like less. Why are we taking it? Just castle or D6. Because now we brought the queen out. Now he gets frisky. All right. So, what is the crime that your opponent is committing? They don't respect development, right? Okay. That said, we do have ourselves an interesting little situation on our hands where we have to worry a little bit about your bishop getting trapped. You're probably right that right now it's not trapped, right? But we would definitely want to work on it. Not trapped because on either here or here we have this move. Okay. I think your move's okay. Okay, fine. I'm going to say it's fine. Poor because now the bishop does get out. That's not doing anything. Thank you. Cheap threat. Thank you. Now we need a good move. Bishop b7. h4 would be the only thing that kind of scare me here. Okay. Ooh, bishop takes c3 wins the bishop on e4 here. Well, well, it's going to get hot. Check. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Heir for the king. Now, are you sure you didn't have a better way of doing this? Let's just contemplate this position for a second. Ideally, I'd rather not let him play queen h7. So my first question is, I don't know if this works, is can I do this? Check. I don't think this is going to work. El Gutto instinct says that's not working. That's mate, right? Okay. So then he has to give us that piece. He's got to come over here. If king e3 with queen d4. Then we say check to the miserable king. The party's not quite over. King f2. Then we say check to the miserable king, and he goes somewhere over here. And then we do your thing, right? So now we're up a gazillion pieces on the variation that you're going to do. Good. A little hot, but I think you're escaping. Good. Notice that we're just not caring about their pieces. And right, now you blunder. Boom. Okay. You should still be winning this, though, right? Okay. Okay, good. There's just like, there's no sense that he is got to develop his stuff. Oh, rook takes h2. Come on. g6. Check to the miserable king. That's what he deserves. Give me that queen. Give me the rook, yard sale, baby. Oh, man. Here we go. Mate. Okay. Yeah. Good game. Good annotations. And I want to say, I want to first compliment you that just playing principal chess, you're going to get this kind of beautiful thing all the time. At this, until you pass 1,000, they're just going to keep giving you these positions, and then you executing these positions is going to be like the key thing for you at this level. Okay, that was Old Freddy. All right, next up, we have Mike32DE. The program has truly brilliant book suggestions. I bought more than I have read yet, but never can have enough books, I guess. Thanks to Sensei Jesse for suggesting going down to a low cohort first. This really helped me develop better skills. I specifically enjoy the technical chess kills the dojo teaches. Oh, we're killing people now. Yeah. So, dude, I was right. Cheeto says I'm right about Reuter. See, so I lived in Germany 5 years, and there the knight is a Ritter. And I was like, oh, those Dutch people, man, they're always changing it up a little bit, So I was like, Reuter, maybe that's a Ritter, Oh, I'm good, dude. I'm at GM level language skills. All right, here we go. So this is Mike32DE. Dude has just gone up the last little bit, crushing it. Let's see how it goes down. We'll go back up one. Lots of work. No games, but maybe there's some games in this one. And we might see a game for this one. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. No rows. Well, Mike32, you're doing good work. You got this end game going on. You got some tactics, some mates in two up to 425. Yeah. We just want to see a game from you, bud. We want to see a game. He's doing the blunder games? Fine. Okay. Language Dojo. That's right. Next up, we have CJ. Pretty cool icon. CJ has graduated before, up there to 916. Look at that. Now, honestly, let me just say I got an email or a Discord message this morning from a dude who was like, man, I'm struggling with the program. I need you to help me out a little bit. And I went and looked at his games, talked about it a little bit. And I want to stress, like, sometimes in your chess, it's going to look like CJ here. Look at this. See what happened to CJ? He's going up and down, kind of just flatlined. You know, there were good days and bad days. And then all of a sudden, Dao, you know, you're in the trenches doing the dojo work. Maybe it doesn't feel great. And then, bam! And I told him, I was like, listen, I mean this truthfully. I'm more interested as a fan in somebody who has this kind of business, this kind of time, struggles, and then, you know, finds the breakthrough. Okay, here's CJ. Let's see if we got some games from CJ. We've got loads, dude. Now CJ's doing the work, see? All right. Indie Chess Championship, round 4. Okay. I'm guessing that's Indianapolis. I'd prefer to have a little bit of annotation at this stage of the game. But okay, here we go. Prep ends here. It's a little weird to call this prep to me. But okay, I'm not going to say anything. Good move. Little odd. Normally, you know, you want to play c5 here. e5. Okay, good move. I'm okay with this. Bishop b7. Look at this, my friends. Bam! Welcome to the dojo. We got somebody in the under 1,000 cohort playing this thing. Bam, bam. Oh, it's all over, baby. Okay. So, first of all, it would be nice to see a little maybe analysis with king h7, knight g5. I will tell you that not every Greek gift works. Sometimes it doesn't work, dude. So it's good for us to analyze it out. Now, after king h8, let's say the more technical way to finish this bad boy off is just to move it back and to say there's no stopping my queen getting here. When you play knight g5, I still love your position, but now it might be a little tricky now. Queen f3 might become a little tricky. King g7, h4, f6. See, now I'm just not 100% sure we're doing this. By the way, in this position, I'm going to go ahead and make the guess that h4 is much stronger, so that we immediately get h5 and tickle this bishop to freedom. That's you could quote me on that. Tickle the bishop to freedom. Okay, it looks like you've survived it, but we're not mating him. Doesn't help him. Good move. Good move. Maybe I take it back. Maybe I take it back. Fine. King e2 looks a little safer to me. Check the miserable. Check to the bishop. It's not really a check. Beautiful little GM level maneuvering. Passive. Passive. Okay. Bang. There we go. From the eval, this was a sloppier conversion than it needed to be. I get that, but let's just say for this level, it was pretty good. You didn't hang, in particular, you didn't hang anything, right? Yeah. I was really impressed with the fact that you did it. So e5, I feel like you've seen this somewhere before. It's a very important pattern to know, and then you had the courage to do it. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, yeah. And then what we should want to say, especially from the analysis afterwards, is that the dude will be mated after a move like bishop c2. It is over. It is over, and maybe we'll give a couple variations as to how it's over. MD Knight says, that's straight Puzzle Rush swagger right there. Yes, it is. Okay, so CJ is coming up. Beautiful. Actually, make a little note, because when I do these little announcements, and I try to remember, where did I see something amazing like the Greek gift at the lower level? Amazing. So next up we have 1GC. And no, we're not ready to graduate, my friend. We're in the wrong one. Let's go back. Then we got Matt. Matt has graduated before. I don't know what the flat lines are about, but let's see what's going on. So we'll go back one. Doing a lot of work. Let's see if we got some games. No. So it's a little bit hard for me to tell, obviously, when we don't have a game or anything. But definitely they're doing the work, and they got up this far. Also, the ratings is weird to me. I don't understand how it's flatlined everywhere. But okay. So that was Matt. And Dr. Otacon, this guy. Dude, Dr. Otacon just keeps cruising. Channel number cool. I remember channel number cool. And dude has made it. 1143, no doubt. Okay, so activity. Good. We'll go back one. Very nice. Okay. See, click on the tactics. Done some mate twos. All right. All right. Let's see with channel number cool. Dude's doing some great work, man. Okay, let's look. Round 5 of the Dojo Open Classical. So, you guys, let me just show you guys something. Tournaments, Dojo Liga, Open Classical. I found that Blitz thing by hitting Dojo Liga. So that's, and then on the calendar too, you can find it. It'll go Dojo Liga. You can find a whole calendar of events. So that's really cool. That's how I got in the tournament last night with Sam, for example. All right, so let's keep going here. Also really cool to go over the game because then we have somebody in the dojo as black too. Fine. The knight has to be brought out, so it's really hard to say that knight f3 is conceivably bad. Fine. Good. In fact, mild criticism from black here is black should definitely play here and then castle. Get out of dodge before the rookie one arrives. And now we have to put it there, otherwise rookie one would be check and it would be unpleasant. Okay. Good development. Now, one thing is I championed this setup for black in this Caro concourse I've got going on. And it's a very interesting dynamic, this kind of position. And black has to be thinking that white's advantage is the extra pawn in the middle, but our advantage is a little bit more harder to understand, and that is, but it's easier to say once you get it, is that our king safety is better. Okay? So instead of knight b6, which is not terrible, I think a cool plan is, first of all, stick this rook here. You need to do that. And then maybe start thinking about putting the big fat knight there, towards the king side. Okay. I don't mind b3. It's a little weird. Okay, we're playing on white's side of the board here when we play c5. c4. Good move, dude. And now we got this bad endgame. Bad because your knight on b6 is poor, and his queenside majority might be a real thing. Knight f5. Yeah, I think you should play bishop c3, bud. And I think you're in full control. I think actually this is like clear advantage for white. GM Nixon's buddy. Thank you for rating. I rated GM Nixon's yesterday, I think, and he was hanging out with his son doing like this cool analysis. And like the son, you could tell this kid hadn't been listening to dad. You know, when it was early youth, probably dad was making him play some chess, and he was like, "No, dad, I don't want to do it." My kids do it; they don't want to listen to me. But now, it was kind of inspirational. Even his kid is like listening to him, doing some streaming, learning about the box in the pawn endgames. Dude, that's some parental jujitsu right there, man. All right, knight f5. I like your analysis. I think bishop c, the knight might not have a future there. Let's put the bishop somewhere nice. Okay. Now, it's true. The knight needs to fix itself. So, good. I got my questions here. So, what are my questions? My questions would be, if this bows took this bows, and this bows took this bows, would you be able to unpin your bishop before it got nailed? That would be my little dirty question right there. Right. So, king h8. Nice place for your knight. Okay. Now, one thing, Black is also a dojo member, that I would like to commend is that a lot of times when we get a terrible knight, as Black has over here, players just leave him there, don't fix him. So I really like the fact that Black tried to fix the knight here. So this was our position, rook f8. Okay, that's a dirty trick. Okay, let's hit him. Oh, why don't we play f4? Yeah, play f4, boss. Let's still play it. Oh, yeah. Ooh, now it's hard. Now we can't do it as easy. Ooh. I don't see that. That's not the right square, because now after g3 we dominate the dude. Letting the knight back in. Letting the knight back in. And just to say, the El Correctamundo move here is g3. Keep that knight tied down. We've got the advantage just because their knight is so bad. Is it over? It's not over, but we got the advantage. Now this is called counterplay. I think the big question there be like rook c3 or rook a3. Good, okay. We should, yeah, okay. We could do some more annotations here. I don't understand that move. Rook d4, it's good, yeah. I'm worried. And you just resigned here, Bows? Okay. So, first of all, you guys, for a 900 to 1,000 cohort game, pretty strong, okay? Pretty strong. And the things to be looking for here are time and a little bit of understanding the position. But honestly, like, there's some mistakes in here that are like higher level mistakes. I thought c4 was a very nice move because it really cuts the knight. And what does white want? Sure, white wants an endgame here. And then here, like, maybe this is GM level or something, but you have a nice advantage here. Bishop e3, bishop c3 or e3. They both look pretty good to me. I like c3 better for some reason. I can't even explain. But like I said, you have that bad knight. We're going to push those pawns. It's looking great. So, Dr. Otokon, Channel and Merkul, you're doing great, buddy. And still the master of the endgame over here. So, good. All right. Barmax. Let's look. This might be a just kind of, yeah, I don't know. Maybe some Barmax just got here, figuring it out. All right, let's go back. So, all right. Next up, and then I'm going to take a break after this one. Switching my metric to my USCF rating. Yes, great. I am so glad I took some time to look at some of the sparring and book recommendations. They have solidified my practical knowledge and has gotten me in the habit of annotating my classical games, what I hadn't done before. Okay, that's great. The USCF has suffered, but that's okay. Yeah. Okay, this is pretty recent here. And we got Chesscom and, yeah. Pringle on Discord. Okay. He loves opening theory. Doing a lot of non-dojo. Doing some rapid. Okay. Oh, we got to go back one. This isn't representative. It's kind of weird. It went from, I guess, maybe on the basis of the USCF, he did a huge jump. This is what he did before. Now, that USCF rating might be kind of provisional, in which case, if you need to demote yourself, it's okay. I'm probably going to demote myself pretty soon, too. But let's take a look at some games here. All right. Okay. Right, so b6 is a little funny because you're inviting that. Probably your only move. Well, I get other moves, but yeah, that's correct. Ooh, now you had knight d4. Bam! See, this is the end of the world. Bam! Welcome to the dojo. You can still do it, but it's not as impressive as last time. Snip, snap. Now, what I like about what you're doing is you are just moving your pieces out, in a nice, simple way. Okay. Knight d8, you break the pin. Fine. I think it's fine anyway. Boom, boom, boom. And if ef6, knight e2. Good. Good. And now you miscalculate with d5. Now, let me tell you something. Knight c3 is definitely not the best because that knight is pinned, meaning you can take that thing whenever you want to. And your knight is stronger than his knight, too. Now, it still might not be totally easy to figure out what to do in this position, but a default move could be something like this. Just bring that guy over. Now we're in trouble. Again, let me stress something. At this level, it generally, like all the fancy positional stuff, is important and interesting to look at, but it'll be moves like this where we're blundering something that will decide the game. Now, okay. Check to the miserable. check to the miserable. So, f3, correct. And one of the things that we got to say about this is, first of all, obviously your opponent didn't see it. And it means that you needed to play this move. Life is still pretty hard after that move for you, but it looks like the game is not immediately over, which it is after queen e4, f3, because this coconut is a problem, right? That coconut is a problem. Okay. So, one of the things, you said it, you hear me all the time, but like when you say things like I'm underprepared to play the English, it has nothing to do with the opening. This guy's just moving some random people out, right? And this is a mistake because of bishop g2. And again, when people learn the opening too early, what they're doing is instead of looking at the board, they're doing a setup regardless of whether it makes sense or not. So now b6 just doesn't make sense against g3. If dude had played, let's say bishop b4, over here, he played knight f3, then b6 isn't ridiculous. No, makes some sense. But against g3, no, it doesn't make any sense. And then I think my further thing is, I think here you were so obsessed with something you saw in a book where they went d6, e5 that you missed this glorious thing, right? And so again and again, what I'm seeing is the opening knowledge is actually hurting instead of helping players at this level. Okay, here we go. He's a fan of the openings. Okay. I get it. It feels powerful. All right. I said I was going to take a break, but let's do. Yeah, we're going to take a little break. I'll be right back. Chess Dojo training program was built around 3 principles. The first is that to improve at anything, you need a structure and a plan to follow, something you can trust. And so at the dojo, we have material, whether you're an absolute beginner or you're a grandmaster, we have the appropriate material to get you to the next level. The second principle is something that also can be used to learn anything, and that's called the principle of plus minus equal, that you need somebody above you, an equal, and somebody below you. And in terms of the dojo, what that means is above you, you will have the senseis and other higher rated players who will give you insight and critique maybe on your games. But at a deeper level, the program itself is the plus that you have to give some measure of authority to follow the program. Your equal is your cohort. These are the people with whom you are going to spar out positions, you're going to discuss books, you're going to play against, you're going to have postmortems. It's a very rich community. And then finally, and this is very important, you need a minus, and this is somebody to whom you can explain your ideas. And only when you can explain your ideas to somebody who doesn't get them yet, have you truly understood those ideas yourself. The third principle is very chess specific, and that is really a Soviet Botvinnik principle, and that you have to go over your games in order to progress. And so at the dojo, we have a games database, and you will be publishing your analysis into that database. Now, the act of publishing, when you're analyzing the game, will have the effect that you know that somebody else, maybe myself, will read your analysis, okay? And so you will try harder to be clearer about what you are thinking about, to be clear in your analysis. And that process of becoming clearer will help your thoughts get clearer too. And one of the great successes of the dojo is just throughout the years we've been doing this, we have a great collection of games annotated by a variety, all the levels of player out there. All right, let's keep going with this bad boy here. And I believe we're up to Lincoln Hovat. Hovat means Croatian in Hungarian, I believe. That's my little language thing for the day. So, activity. See how they got here? Lots of non-dojo time. Who are they cheating on us with? Tactics somewhere. Okay, we got a lot of tactics in endgame. Probably won't have any games here. Can't do much. Fluffy links. Okay, good. So, beautiful rating graph. Absolutely. Okay, let's go back. And next up, we got M-Page Chess. I'm graduating to be in the correct cohort for my ECF rating. Beautiful. So, great. Live in the UK. We have several people in the UK. Really cool. And now we got some activity. We'll go back one. Oh, yeah. There's something really jumped up. I think I might have yelled at M-Page. I was like, Bows, you got to get up there. Yeah. So, this is all looking good. Let's see if we get a game here from M-Page. Michael Page. Okay. Now, been going over some of the games that Jamil's playing in the London League or whatever. Totally cool to play in a league. And I think especially a lot of people at the dojo are like, well, how do I get this longer game in? And it can be difficult. And in Europe, you can play these league games. Pruess is playing some league chess in France as well, too. So, here we go. A little weird, but okay. H3, you know what I'm going to say. Loss of time. What would have been correct? Bishop E3, Knight F3, something like that. Now you're losing your mind a little bit. So, right, I think what's happening is the opening knowledge again here is killing you, right? Because the things you're doing they're not consonant. E6, weird, right? Okay, could have done that without E6. Okay, Knight F3 is more logical. Just light him up, buddy. I have got myself fixated on Black's knight and was a bit concerned with castling into Black's pawn storm. Well, yeah, you should be. But now you can't castle kingside. You could, but I mean, it's going to be a little harder to do after you play G4. This move is very suspicious. It's going to free this bishop, and it's giving this knight a square. And really, it's important to see that I think from your perception of it, you feel like you need to attack this person. But this person's actual problem is space. And these guys are knocking each other in the way. This bishop, it's not yet clear how it gets out. This bishop's blocked. But now with E5, there's going to be a lot of liberation for Black. That can't be right. That isn't it, Mouse. No, knight D5. Come on. Good. Makes no sense. It's not just that it just doesn't make any sense. Right? Okay. Now, do I like this move knight C5? I don't think so. Because, again, our need here, or whatever you want to call it, is we don't want to trade pieces. And this move really helps Black, I think, with their need to trade some stuff off. So, Queen C8, a little weird, but Queen C7 would have been more normal. Look at what you did. Right? You traded away one of their worst pieces for one of your developed pieces. Again, not developing. And now c5 looks like it wins the game. Yep. Now, I want to stress, I think your narrative of this might be, oh, I blundered this tactically. And that's true. But more importantly, bad things will happen to you when you give up time. Right? Because you're talking about bishop c4 here. Would that have been better? Yes. But time has already been lost. And, c5 is going to come. Black is going to have rich chances against your position. All right, let's see if this guy gives you a chance. No need for queen b7, loss of time. Okay. He's trading off like they should. Okay. A little bit of randomness here. Yep, so he gives you another chance. Thank you very much. I guess we're still toast, huh? Yeah, queen e7, terrible move. What should they do? Queen takes f4. Now, sometimes when it's marked in red like this, it suggests to me that like a computer said that this was a terrible move, right? And this is the kind of thing we really want to get good at, just annotating our games here. Well, now you're just glorious here. Now it's glorious. Okay. And now queen e5. Okay, time out though. You're saying the rest of the game was not recorded, but I ended up resigning. This is a position we got to spend a second with, my friend. Yeah, we're not done here. So, analyze this out. Are you upset? Did the game go bad? Yes, but like this is where we learn to calculate. First question, can we play either c3? Well, I want to play c3. So, I'm not sure I can, though. Let's look. c3 takes f4, takes f3, and I catch him. Okay? So why do I need to play c3? I got to get my own passed pawn going. Okay? So if we imagine then takes, king c2, king takes e6, king c3. Now, if the dude plays f4, I'm going to go pick that pawn up myself. So this is their chance. I go. Takes. This is hot. Now, let me stress. Do I know immediately what the eval is on this position? No. Takes me a moment, dude. This takes a moment. But I don't think we're losing. And on f4, we have two choices. Running or king c3. And king c3 looks a little bit more tasty to me, where we have good chances of, well, yeah, king c3 is going to be the move. And now we have good chances of winning this game. And then, just for kicks, we could run it out. Why are we have good chances? Because their king is so far away. The Dire Straits song says, so far away from me. One tempo, baby. We won it with one tempo. Okay? Now, could you maybe make that more accurate of an analysis? Of course. Spend some time here. This is how you learn endgames. In fact, let me just stress the point I often make about endgames. And this is by the way, you're up to this level, right? You're in the 1500, you're in the Bedfordshire Chess League, where it's time to start thinking about endgames. Now, something I say often is very important. When people think endgames, they think like the algorithms. Algorithms are very important, but this is not an algorithm. There's a couple positions in here which are algorithm-like. For example, is my king in the box to catch the pawn? Right? That's a really big question. And then, but other than that, we're dealing with ideas and then counting. One idea, for example, is I'm trying to get a connected outside passer. If I get that thing, the guy's toast, right? He's got to babysit the pawn. He can't get out of the box. That's the box right there. Can't leave that box. And then I'm going to go eat everything over here while he's trying to get to that. He has to stay in the box. Okay? And then we start calculating. Also, really good in your games to realize that you were frustrated. I get it. But you also didn't have a right to win the game in the sense that, you got a gift as well. Right? Yeah. Okay. Bubble check is a fun misspelling. So what are the things to say about Queen e5? Let's go back a second. I'm sure like Queen d6 is better. But Queen e5 might in itself actually be winning. Might actually be winning. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back. And the ratings thing, I don't know what's going on. It's a little bit, maybe he's new to the ECF and stuff, but still, I'm looking forward to seeing more of M Page here. All right, next up, Matthias. Completely overrated and have won a few games somewhat luckily, but at some point I'll have to press the graduate button. Still haven't properly evaluated a few games. They're coming. The problem is time. Okay. So, 12:36. Dude, well, he's ready. He's ready for the next one. This guy's ready for the next one. Yep. That's some good progress, obviously. So, we're going to go back one. Dude, Matthias is doing some work. Another thing you see as you go up the cohort is the amount of work that people are doing to get to the next level. There's more. It takes more. It's more competitive up there. Harder to learn. Okay. So, this looks great. Probably going to see a game here. All right. Let me just check a different one because this is a little light. It's also a little light. Hold on, let me just see. Okay, they're all a little bit light. Okay, but let's take a look. This one, let's serve the purpose, I guess. Fine. Rook C1's a little weird. DC or knight E2 would make a little bit more sense to me. Incorrect. Moving a developed piece twice. Incorrect. Moving a developed piece. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? This is what I'm talking about. Now, F3, I don't know if I should praise it, but it's actually a pretty good move. And this comes up in this particular kind of structure where sometimes our bishop on h4 might even want to go back to f2. I don't want to necessarily say it, though, because then it looks like I'm saying pawn moves are okay. We are dominating the knight, though. Doesn't make any sense. You know I don't like it. Now, here, rook e1 certainly makes sense. We have interesting questions, though, about are we... Well, it's getting dangerous with bishop f6 and knight d5. Let's just say it was something to think about. Right, so he's missing g5. He's going after the d5 pawn. So G5. Yep, that's a bummer right there. That's not going to help, right? So, misses it. You got a break. Good. I don't know if you don't need to rush it. Passive, we want the rook on D1. Yep. Now the guy should consider queen takes E7. So that we would say king H8 was a blunder, and you need to take this thing. And then queen E7, queen B3, game goes on. Here we just loses a business. Check to the miserable king. Welcome to the dojo. Can I just say something here? Okay, you saw it. Good. Okay, Matthias, we could talk a little bit more about what's going on in these positions. You can see that your opponent is giving you loads of time, right? Loads of time. And yeah, here this makes me feel better just to develop. Okay, but good. You're doing good. All right. So let's keep going. We're getting up there, my friends. Getting to the big boys now. And this is Elise Schmeliz. Elise Schmeliz. 1152. We got probably maybe new to the dojo. Might have just come in. So welcome to the dojo, Elise Schmeliz. And then we got Doug Mack. Doug Mack, when sometimes it's this small of a score, it might just be a welcome to the dojo. They might just have gotten here, just done a little bit, you know. Sometimes that happens. People come to the dojo, they hit the graduation, but I don't know, actually. This guy says Dojo 1.0. No, so I don't know. It's a little bit hard to say. Definitely Doug Mack's been here for a while, 1469. There's something also in the wrong cohort, Doug Mack. What's going on, Bobs? What's going on? All right, do more to your notes, buddy. Doug Mack, wrong cohort. Okay. Next up, David. Maybe also just a performative, wrong cohort. David, wrong cohort. It's interesting. One of the things that's evolving in the dojo is it used to be like everybody was on the Discord, and now it's not necessarily the case. So like David could just be here, but not on the Discord, which is fine, but I can't tag him then when I do the announcements later. That's okay. So look at the activity. Game. Oh, we got a game here. Okay, I can't yell at David too much because he's got a game, but he's not in the right cohort, buddy. All right. Let's take a look at Dave over here. All right. It's a little bit manic. Let's just see if there's the other one's different. No. Let's see if this one's different. Okay. Look, we're going to say optically this looks the best. Fine. 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 Good. Very solid. Well, now we're losing a pawn, so we need to say something about it, right? Well, we got to calculate bishop f6. Now we got to calculate knight e4. I got to calculate bishop f6. It's a problem. Good. Oh, fancy. Yeah, you needed to take the thing. fancy. Nice move. Nice move. We got a little lucky there. Okay, now we have to convert. Good. Good. 94. Great. Now he's toast. Good. And I'll tell you what, that is in it. Bang! Welcome to the dojo. So, David, not terrible. I like the way you solidly got to this position, right? It's typical Caro, give up your bad bishop, put your pawns in the light squares. Nice pawn chain, that whole thing. Okay. So, this one, I want to see the bishop on e7. Just solid, right? And then, dude, there's some tactical misses from both sides here. Why isn't white taking on f6, for example? These are the things we want to put into the analysis. Why aren't you playing knight e4 here? Those kinds of things. But that's the next step for you, as I see it. All right. Good. Next up, we got Colton. Colton has graduated a number of times, is doing a lot of work. Dude, look at Colton. Colton's flying up there. Look at that thing, putting in the work. USCF. The USCF is sometimes not the same, but you can tell Colton started up, had a great tournament, couple nicks, but hopefully, we're hoping anyway, he gets up to this level with the USCF. So Colton, boom. And we'll go back one. Lots of work. Who's he cheating on us with? We got some books. Can we click that? No. Okay. Lots of hours. End game. Middle game. First book of Morphy. Great. Tactics. Mates in 1. Mates in 2. 370. Okay. Good. All right, let's see if we got a game here from Colton. No. Dang it, Colton. Colton, give us a game. I do an announcement after all these. It's hard work, man. Hard work. I got to do the announcement later, man. It's going to be 40 people of announcements. Colton's bringing it, though. We don't know much about him because he doesn't have any games, but look at that thing. He's falling 322 points, Bows. Okay, this is the longest show ever, but I'm bringing it through here. Now we're gonna get some big graduations coming up. Look, there's Krabby Crab and MD Knight, Andrew Rimmer. I think these people are all in the chat. They're just waiting for me to get through all these people. So, is it Bakeman or Bakaman? I'm gonna say Bakaman. And you can see Bakaman is doing some real work at 128, so let's take a moment. I'm especially enjoying playing longer games, OTB, where you have plenty of time to think. Having several hours of focus time with no phones or distractions is a luxury I really appreciate. Biggest challenges. Being a video/digital learner in a mostly book-based program. Okay, this is a really interesting point. I personally feel that I learn more efficiently from videos or digital tools such as Chessable than from books. Another thing is that digital tools are always available. I cannot really bring the Polgar book with me wherever I go, but I always have my phone, so more video digital-based options in the program would be good. Combining a coach with the dojo program. Coaches often have their own materials or philosophies, sometimes in contrast with the dojo. The dojo-approved coaches were a bit out of my price range. I think I have found a very good compatible coach within my price range now, though. For the next cohort, I need to spend more time on the middle game activities, including books and sparring. Okay, cool. So let me say something about that. One of the things, and I talked a little bit about it in this book we're doing, How to Analyze Your Games, is there is such a thing as a text culture that I grew up with, for example, Boomer GM, and the video culture that now exists. And for example, in the annotation of the games, it's like, I like to do it on a notebook. Because I don't want to be in front of the computer, because the computer has all kinds of dings and whistles, and it's going to distract me, right? I want to be really focused when I'm analyzing the game. But for people who grew up in the video world, it's just going to be really hard for them to not do the annotations in front of the computer, and that's fine. So, but it's just something to recognize. Now, something about the program is, I wouldn't say it's as book heavy as we're describing it. There are books, but there are going to be several things in the program which will be uncomfortable for anybody. For example, there's things still out there I haven't done. There's the big, in my cohort, I have to memorize Fischer Taimanov, this like 70 move, beautiful game. And I think I've kind of got it, but it's difficult for me. That's just an example. So the books are going to be pushing you in a spot where it might feel uncomfortable. Second of all, a lot of the books are unchessable. A lot of them are unchessable, you know. The Polgar book, actually, I'm almost 100% sure you can get that on Kindle. So you could take that with wherever you go. And we also have lots of videos, you know, throughout the program. So let's push back a little bit about it being mostly book-based. You know, let's push back a little bit. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say about, just as a guess, 60 to 70% of the books we have are available in a digital form, like Chessable or something like that. Because Chessable is really doing a lot of the classics out there, and more will be out there on Chessable. It's a little different, of course, when you put a book on Chessable, because then you have like a presenter who might not be the original author talking about it, like Maurice Ashley did the Reassess Your Chess book recently. I don't know if it's any good. It's just an example of a book that's been moved into Chessable land. Right. But let's click into Bakuman, and let's go look, actually. Let's just, for kicks here, I'm going to read this in a second. So, 46 years old, you're from a text culture, my friend, Bakuman. You're from a text culture yourself, buddy. You're from the olden times. All right, I want to look, just think about, like, let's say middle games and strategy. Logical chess move by move. Is that on Chessable? Not sure. Most Instructive Games, great book. You can tell he didn't like those books. He didn't want to do it. So we got, those are the book things that we're demanding of him. The rest is not book stuff, right? I just wanted to look, but I think those are on Chessable. Don't quote me on that. Maybe someone can look while we're on the stream. Okay, 46-year-old from Norway. Play at least 100 OTB games. That's a lot. A commonly quoted thing is you need to play like 40 to 50, including at least 30 classical. Okay, good. Status February 4th, 3 classical, 10, 9 blitz. Play serious classical games online every week. Good. Analyze all classical games. Following the program, great. And getting experience in new positions. Make some new chess friends. Nice. One thing actually I'll also say is several of us are doing these classes where, it's not going to be as expensive. So you can have, if not a direct coach, like, something like a coach. So for example, here on this, I'm doing this class. 2 people have already signed up. Just Andrew actually is the only one that signed up. And we had a great class I did it for 1,000 to 1,500, 1,400, excuse me. And this one is like 12 to 17. And it was a great class, and the people worked together really well. They met before and after our sessions. And so it was a way for me to interact with them, and also just to give a little structure for them to talk about the game analysis. So I'm just going to continue it now. And, that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping is more financially feasible for people who are looking for a little guidance in addition to the dojo. And I would say if you have a coach and you want to do the training program, just having that coach look over your games. KGB, my coach, doesn't know anything about the program, dude. You know, that guy's from a text culture. That guy's from a text culture. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, got a FIDE rating. Good. It matches with Elite Chess Classical, too. All right, let's go look at some games. Bakuman is doing great work over here. Great work. All right. Norway is interesting, too, in that, of course, you know, they're having a huge boom. I would love to go play in Norway, man. That would be great. So, here we go. Fine. Little strange, but playable. You can play e5 here. Yeah, you can play all kinds of things, but this is okay. Fine. d5. Good. Now we got ourselves an interesting situation, and then you blunder with c6. Okay. It would be cool if we had some clock times. It looks like we don't have them. This is a very interesting theoretical position. Me and Kostya actually did some sparring here. There's all kinds of moves. Very interesting dynamic stuff. In general, I like your chances at this level with this opening because it's very hard to play for space, and that's what White's doing here. Personally, I think the move knight h5 is the most challenging here. Okay, so c6. Now, let me just say, yes, we've blundered, but we do have some practical chances / hope because our pawn on c6 dominates the knight on c3, you know. Now I'm hoping for queen a5. I'm not sure about rook d1. Losing time. Got to play queen a5, right? The lady wants to get out. Right? So h6, totally unnecessary. Okay, we definitely don't want to play queen d8. And queen a3 is definitely, unless you see a way for them to trap your business, which maybe it might be that way, no, you want to play queen a3. Because here we also have a threat of playing bishop f8 and sniggling this pawn. Passive. Counterattack, I guess. b5 would have made a little bit more sense. Okay, so he hasn't knocked you out yet. Okay, good. But now bishop f8, please. No. Bishop f8 would threaten knight c5 at least. Good. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Oh, now we're getting rolled. Now we're getting rolled. GM Buck! Thank you for a rating. Benjamin Bock. That's a great name, dude, huh? Benjamin Bock. Boom. Things are gone. The milk has gone bad, my friends. The milk has gone bad. Okay, Bakuman. So, let's talk a little bit about the progress of this game. You blundered. Fine. This can happen to anybody. But check it out, bro. You're a pawn down. Your opponent did give up a little bit to achieve this beautiful pawn, right? The knight's bad. And what we have to appreciate is we have to say to ourselves that we gotta try to win with the time that he has given us. So for example, rook d1, little frisky because now the king isn't safe. Queen a5, and we've got, hey, a threat or at least it's something for him to worry about, right? And then we're going to continue. And what we have is we have a little bit of time. We have a little bit of tempo in this game. We have to at least try to use it. And what happens is he consolidates. He wins another pawn. He gets all up in your business. It's because you were passive, okay? So losing the pawn might have been dispiriting, but it was not what caused the loss in this game. All right, here we go. Boom. So let's continue. Next up, we have Bastos. I graduated according to my ratings, exclam. Still in love with the books recommended and the sparring, although I feel like I need a bit more of knowledge about endgame and opening. Okay, yeah, good. Bastos, 31-year-old French player. Go hang out with Pruess. Okay, using the FIDE rating. Great. Everything looks kosher over here. So, activity, we'll go back one. 60 hours to make it. Beautiful, beautiful. Lots of endgame. Let's click on that. Great. And then we got some tactics going on. The Polgar mates in 2 are getting done. Great. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at one of Bastos's games. Bastian. I love that name. That's a cool name. So it looks like this is an OTB game against probably a higher rated opponent. Let's go. Yeah. So, A6, what is it? It's a loss of time. It's got to be correct. Correct. I like this move a lot. D4. I hate that move. Terrible move. Terrible move. So what has happened? Now in this position, I really want you to see this. You have got a King's Indian on crack, my friend. On crack. This was a loss of time. Your pawns are all pointing this way, and it's time to mate them. Bishop D6. Very happy you didn't play E5. Now, a bold move that I wish you would consider here is G4. Now, let's talk a little bit about it. It might look insane, but the point is that you own that side of the board. That's your side of the board. And you can really, you can get ready to roll over there. Why can you get away with, let's say, call them pawn weaknesses or committal pawn moves? Because you have so much stuff over there and what black does not. G3 is not terrible, though. Good. Okay. And then here, you lose your mind a little bit. In general, C3 might not be terrible, but in general, we do not want to be playing on that side of the board, if especially if there's some way we can do something else. Loads of interesting ideas here for you. One thing to notice, and you might have felt it in the game too, is this knight doesn't know what to do. It would be cool if it could go there, right? So even here, this move is pretty spicy with the intention of space and crush and mush, And that's, if you're going to play, especially when you play Grand Prix stuff, that's what we're talking about, Bows. This is what we're talking about. Yeah. Now, this opponent isn't 700, it's 600 points. So let's call them 550 points above. Okay, and they're playing chump moves. They're playing chump moves. So C3, rook B8. Doesn't do anything. CD4, CD4. I'm not sure King H1 is a bad move. Now you are threatening the pawn. Okay. Now, the issue that I have with Queen C2 is that the queen doesn't really want to be there. Where does the queen want to be? On the king's side. So Queen E1, maybe. Now, what I say about this queen e1 though is that you got to worry at least about knight b4. So the plans that make sense to me here are bishop d2, then queen e1, bishop d2, then rook c1, and or the barbaric g4. Black has to castle over there someday, and we need to improve the knight, right? It's time to party on it. It doesn't matter if he's 550 points ahead of you, Bows. It doesn't matter. He's making mistakes. He's playing chump moves. Rook b8, a6. What is this fool doing? Oh, we don't like that. So now you're obsessing over the d4 pawn and creating weaknesses on Black's side of the board. And outright, it's like you gave up on that one. Loss of time. And the rook is going to come to c8. Now this guy's losing time all over the place. Now, regardless of whatever we want to say about this move, what I like about it is it shows you felt a need to fix that dude. And he did need to get fixing. And clearly you didn't see the idea of playing g4. Okay? Do I think that's weird? It's pretty weird. Do I think that's weird? It's pretty weird. Notice he's losing his mind too. And now here you checked with the engine. It was talking about g4. Right, dude? Right? Look, engine sees it too. Engine's like, let's party. It's time to start the party over there. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, critical moment. And now he's under 1 minute. By the way, it is great to enter the times, and then we'd get a time graph if you had entered the times. Okay. Interesting position. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe in you here. So there's EF, G5. There's bishop H3, maybe. And there's knight E5, which I like less. Let me stress something, that this bishop is unhappy. I get it. Now, what happened? You tried to fight that pawn. You lost the fight, and now the bishop's hemmed in, right? In general, as I've said in multiple videos, our dream was really Federico's to push this bad boy and then have the bishop be opened, right? So G5, and then he hits you here. I don't know. G6, thank you very much. I'm not impressed with this player, dude. But this guy's just going back and forth, dude. He's got no clue. Knight FE5, sure. And Black has put himself in a dangerous situation now. The position explodes even a little bit. That king is going to get mated. Now we gave him an important square. Not sure I get it. Good move. Now Black feels like they understand what's going on. I don't think we should take. It's too powerful. Yeah, I think we're toast. F4 is falling. The end. Yeah. Okay. But I think what we should say is, yes, time management. But one of the great things about this game that you can see is that your opponent, we could say it two ways. You could say you strategically outplayed them, or you could just say they didn't know what they were doing. They're pretty high rated, right? And you see this a lot. And sometimes GMs don't know what they're doing either, right? And so if we look back on it, already you've got a monster position here. Monster position, but you have to understand it. I think one reason that A6 might have thrown you off is a lot of times with the Grand Prix, we trade our bad bishop, right? And then, go ahead and castle, yada, yada. Here, bishop will still be powerful, just like in a King's Indian, right? Boom, boom. Oh, man. And it was that move, g4, which really would have expanded the power of your pieces on the king side. And that's something that comes with experience, analyzing your games, right? There was a couple points he could have played g4. They're not losing time, they're maneuvering, says Starting Chess. No, they were losing time. They were definitely losing time, my friend. G3 is losing time because G4 was necessary. A6, complete loss of time. Complete, no need. D4, terrible move because now the knight goes where it wants to go. Rook B8, complete loss of time. Complete. So they are losing time. Queen C2, losing time. Yes, you're touching the bishop, but the queen doesn't belong there and it's going to get whacked. So you will lose time. Okay, so let's go back. Congratulations, Bastos. And sky's the limit. I like this. I like the bike too. Okay, so this is a long grad show, dog. We're at 2 hours in. Where are we? This Bastos. Now we got chili buttons. I didn't have a chance to get any long OTB games in while I was in this cohort since I've had other commitments on nights when my local club meets. Don't yell at me too much. All right, chili buttons. So first of all, beautiful graph. You graduated a couple times already. That's what the dojo's supposed to be looking like right there. And then we're going to go activity. We'll go back one. Okay. So I think what Chili Buttons is saying is that it doesn't have a game in, but it's doing this other work. Silman, great. Tactics, beautiful. 800 made in twos. Okay. So, let's see if we got some games. We got one game. I might have looked at this before just because he graduated fairly recently, but let's look. Sometimes I'm not going to remember until it goes down. I'm now ahead in development in exchange for not having a pawn in the center. Good, yeah. Okay. I'll give a vote for D5 there. I like D5, but bishop C5 can't be bad. And now you did D5. Okay. That freaks me out a little bit. Might be playable, but it freaks me out. DE4 would have really given him some real questions, I think. So we need to look at DE4. Okay, boom. H6. We got to talk about bishop F6. Now see, Queen E7 is not good because, like you said, right? And I think it was you got yourself into a little bit of a quandary about how to play the position because now things like E5 are a problem, as well as bishop F6 ED, which I guess dude could have done on the last move. So we might have to do something like G5. Again, very important. If you don't like a move, say what you should have done. Oh, no, this is scary. Knight takes E4 for sure. Not even a question. Okay, I like the spirit of the move. C3, giving away time. Okay, now we need to think a little bit. You play G5. And here's the thing with G5. On G5, dude can throw in this capture, intermezzo, and maybe live. Whereas on this move, the easy play would be rook takes d2. Queen takes d2, and then we take the bishop. Thank you very much. Winning. Right? So, by the way, when they lose time, that is usually the moment when we have something. So g5, missing bishop takes c6, white misses it too. Now we whack him, and I guess it's over. And now, we played knight takes d2. Rook takes d2, definitely with a win. But even at this point, just f5. He's done. We won a piece. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Boom, boom, boom. And then he finds queen f3. And then because of this rook c7 stuff, it's not 100% what's happening. Check to the miserable, very unfortunate. And then he blunders gf3. Rook takes c6, yeah. Rook c6, and then it would be good to analyze that out a little bit, honestly, because it could go rook c6, king, rook, and white is definitely better. But after, say, bishop c6, maybe we can claim that this rook is misplaced, and we have chances because we'll be able to play rook d2 next. You know, it's something to analyze. Rook f5 would be the next move, for example, for white. Maybe h4 too, but rook a5. Yeah, one of those moves. So blunder. Thank you very much. Ooh. I prefer not to undouble the pawns, but rook d1 and I lose the bishop. Well, slow it down a little bit. You don't actually lose the bishop on rook d1. If it's white's move and he plays rook d1, then we could take the thing. Or we could play bishop e5. Right? But fine, I like this solution. Good. Knight d3, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Well done. Wait a second. I guess you're saying that you can't take the pawn. Maybe you can't. No, I guess you can't. Knight d5. Good move. King c7. Bring it in. I like king c7. We need to fix the king. Check to the miserable. Good move. And we're going to say check to the miserable king. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, thank you very much. At this point, the only advice I'd have is to look at your opponent sternly and say, welcome to the dojo. You know? So, and a local player, 700 USCF. Right. Notice, too, this player did not use their time. You did. You did. So that's great. Again, you can put in, with Jack's amazing new board editor, you can put the times in, and then it creates a really cool graph. Starting Chess says, opposite colored bishops down a pawn should usually be a draw, right? Well, that was, first of all, that was one of the reasons I wanted to look at that position. It honestly was still hot. There was still a lot to talk about, and that's why I was like, this is something we should look at. Maybe we'll just revisit that position for half a second. So, it would have been, where's that rook takes c6? It would have been rook c6 here, rook c5, bishop c6, rook f5. It's a very hot position. White definitely can play to win. No doubt about it. They can play to win. One thing I also considered was we could, I don't like to do it though, is a rook d1. I don't like it. Because now white's rook gets active, right? And white's king is totally going to be fine. There'll be h3 or h4 later. and our king is poor. So yeah, it's definitely, let's just call it a clear advantage for white. If the rooks were off, then I would feel very confident in saying what you're saying starting soon, that it would be great drawing chances. But with the rooks on, no me likey. Okay, let's go to the next one. So, Bakuman, Bastos, Chili Buttons. Now we got Alchar playing OTB in Seattle, USCF, 1321. Let's go. All right. Huge jump. Huge jump. That's what happens over the board. You have some nice tournament. Bang! 142 points, man. All right. So, let's go back one. They did some work. Okay. Looks like they might have a game. They got all kinds of games. By the way, Alchar, buddy, give yourself credit for the games played. Let's see. Yeah, you're not giving yourself credit. So, looks like this is going to be a game, an OTB game. Okay. Boom. Boom. C3. This is the old way. And playing this structure with E5. Now, let me just say, let's talk about just principles. Knight F6 is the right move on a principled basis because E5 doesn't help our pieces get out at all, right? Knight F6 has got to be done. Not like what you did was wrong or something, but just on a principled level. All right, at least I like this. Yeah, white played a little passively, and now you got a nice position. Great, great. Where did white go wrong, actually? So, one thing about it is, I guess if I was going to give this person advice, I would say Knight A3, Knight E7, and then do I want to break it? Do I want to break it? Let's get spicy. Knight C4. There's just questions. There's just questions happening here. In any case, white plays passively. And then you break it open, and you're definitely doing great. You could have also considered queen takes, but knight takes also looks strong. Now you have great center control. And white goes passive for you. Okay. Right. Now, let's just say the struggle for you here will be that you have more space. The knight on c2 is poor. And with more space, you're going to want to, the bishop on f1, also terrible. You are going to be wanting to focus on not trading your coconuts, right? This is a difficult skill. So bishop g4, the problem is, right, you don't really ever want to take that knight. So we're just giving him h3. And we don't want to put a bishop on f5 because we don't want to encourage any trades after knight e3. In fact, if he plays knight e3, we just want to back it up. And now, if there's somebody out there who's just annoyed at Kraai and all the dogmas that he preaches, then you guys can yell at me for the following move that I think is probably best here for, well, I don't even know. It's complicated. What do we need to do? We need to, first of all, recognize that on knight takes d5, first of all, was d4 playable? If it is playable, then white should have done that move. If it is playable, then we should have played this move. First of all, let's just leave it at that. Because d3 is not only passive, but it's killing this poor bishop over here. On queen takes, he's not going to get to be able to do it. Okay. And he did, look at this. This is a nice variation. This is what he calculates here. Yeah, good. But in that case, let's play queen takes d5. Boom, queen takes d5. Okay, so what was I going to say? Well, I want you to either move this knight or put this queen here because I need you to stop d4. We still need to stop it. 93, good, trading pieces. Okay. Now white needs to be a little clever here. Also wants to trade pieces. And this doesn't solve all of white's problems, but maybe knight g5. Intending, I don't know. Yeah, intending here, here. I don't know. A little complicated, Kraai. Knight c4, queen c7, good. You could also consider f6. Now, good. No trade for you, buddy. Now, move that knight back to e7, just nice and calm. You say it too, knight c7, which holds all my pieces and center in place and gives me time to play h6, b5, pushing back the knights. Good. So what this is it's a good chance for you to think about what time means. I don't think white is better after queen f3, for example. They've got too many terrible pieces. It might have, I think it was a difficult move for you to face. But the key thing to understand is when you have more space like this, we don't trade the minors. And I just want to stress this is a very deep skill that takes a while. And even there's very strong players who don't know how to do it. It's just challenging because you're not trying to knock the person out with a direct plan. You're just trying to squeeze. You're trying to squeeze. Okay, so knight f4. I would definitely consider bishop f4. I'd play bishop f4. Okay. And now you took on g5. If this move didn't make me weep, then I would do that move. Okay, boom, boom. b5. Okay. And then right, ba4 is a mistake. Where I'd run out of ideas and got impatient. Okay, you talk here about f5. f6 is also interesting. You got a nice position. Rook b8, rook a e8. These are all building moves. Your f5 move, honestly, looks pretty good. Wait a second, though. f5, queen d5 doesn't work. And you talk about h6. Right. Ouch. We actually, see, now white has improved the position kind of a little bit. We have to be careful. The bishop now has this square. This pawn is a little loose. This knight is dominated by this bad boy. So the position has become actually a little bit delicate. And I want to say ideologically, the move b5 is correct. But there's a little bit of grief involved, as we've seen. In fact, white might already be okay here. I agree, in just in general, ba4 is bad, right? Now it's hard to defend that guy. That's probably not it, right? I was thinking that maybe your intention here was to play knight a5. But it is still like knight f6 is still giving me, giving me a hernia. Okay, it's giving me a hernia. All right, knight f6, and then we blow it. We got to take that thing, I guess. Knight d7, queen d7. Now we're toast. Oh, but then this guy loses their mind. Lose their mind here. Queen f8. Bishop g7. Okay, now who knows what's happening now? Interesting position. I can tell you, I want you to put the queen right there. Bring the lady in. Good. Don't like it. All right. What do we need to do? We need to find some way of improving the knight on e6. And it's not totally clear how to improve the knight, but we must improve the knight. Okay, this looks weird, but maybe g5. We got to do something to get the knight rocking. This is a waste of time. That is very clever, but it doesn't work. So you're playing for a draw. I don't know if you need to play for a draw here, my friend. you got some interesting stuff in this position. We are going to give you credit for tactical inventiveness, but then ultimately it's just a trick, right? And now it's slowly improving their position, and I want you to play f5 here. Okay. Good. It's interesting, this whole time, I want you to see you're not improving your knight. And this is a fascinating endgame here. When you listen to dudes like Kramnik about endgames like this, they're like, yeah, it's lost. For chumps like me, I'm always a little nervous about saying that, but it is probably lost here for us. I think rook e7 is the big real question. I'm not sure what rook e4 does. Ooh, and that's bad because white is opening their kimono here. That's probably not it, huh? Check to the miserable king. Okay. So let's just pause for a second here. Let's say rook e7, which is also what you think. And yeah, it's very difficult here. Very difficult. What's the point? The rooks can gang up on a pawn or a point and the queen cannot, right? Because we can, like, at this point, play like a rook takes h7 or something nasty like that. Top GMs always love the queen, two rooks versus the queen. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, in general. But in Blitz, even some of them are like, I might take the queen. I might take the queen, buddy. So, my friends, a quick little break. I'm going to get myself a tea. We're going to continue. This is the longest graduate show ever. My friends, I thought I hit something else, dude. Oh, shoot, man. Sorry, you guys. I thought I was hitting a different scene or whatever they call it, but I was not. Old man bladder. No, I just had to take a break, dude. I've been at this here for 2.5 hours. Okay, so let's get at it again. We just did Alchar. He's from Seattle, playing over the board. And next up, we got, so Face of Bears might be a performative one. Let's see, USCF 1298. Oh, he's definitely going up there. Let's see what we got. Like, man, might have just joined the dojo. No, he joined last year. Okay, they did some work. Okay, let's see if we get a game here. No game. Okay. So, hard to say anything with Face with Bear. Let's continue. All right. We got so many today. Look at this. Now we got Arnas, might be performative as well. Yeah. Arnas just got here. Just got here. Okay. In fact, we can say they got here 2 days ago and graduated themselves. Okay. So, now it's going to get real. SBC McManus, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I know. Actually, this is what we tweeted out, what SBM McManus said here. Definitely the best part of the program at this level is the balanced approach where you slowly build up all parts of the game. The main thing to improve is to attract more sparring opportunities. Okay, so, you guys, we got some famous graduations coming up. We got Krabby Crab, dude. We got MD Knight, Andrew Rimmer. It's all happening, my friends. Okay, so here we go. This is SBM McManus. 1303, Canadian actuary living in the countryside outside Toronto. We have another actuary with Mitch Fabian. That guy's also living in the countryside outside St. Louis. Let's follow SBM McManus. Okay, activity. We'll see how they did it. Lots of work. Great. Looking very good. Let's click around a little bit. Middle games of strategy. Good. Tactics. Fantastic. Yeah, endgame. Looks great. Okay, let's look at a game. This is Thunder Mullet. I like that. Thunder Mullet. So, now wait, a little bit sparse. Let me just check if there's a different one which has more deeper annotations. These things look, when I see those colors, I feel like that's Lichess telling us what was a mistake and what not. Let's try this one. Good. This is aggressive repertoire. Transposing the main line of the aggressive repertoire. Yes, sir. F4, D6, and now there's both knight F3 and F5. F5 is a very ambitious move, really claiming that the bishop on C8 is dead. Knight F3, bishop G4. Okay. Right, incorrect, I think. H3, probably a fine move. Whoa. Black surrenders a minor piece, giving up way too much. That's right. Rook F1. Now, Rook F1's fine. I would prefer Queen E2, I believe, because the Rook on H1 doesn't know for sure yet that it wants to go there. What is the problem? Not developing the pieces. You could have also played knight F4 here, but this looks safe. Whoa, that might work. That might work. Castles, bang, baby. Ooh-wee. Check to the miserable king. Let's start staking some stuff. This one makes me nervous because of Queen H5, but as long as you got it covered, I'm okay. Let's trade. Thank you. Ooh, it's just fiesta over here. Dang. Be nicer. Dang, look at this guy. He's just tearing it up. So this was like a model game for the aggressive repertoire. And, you know, first of all, it was ultimately decided by black hanging stuff, right? That's how it was ultimately decided. But I guess I'll say this is a mildly interesting mistake here with bishop G4, and it's cool that you know that now about F5. Okay, SBM McManus. Looking good, man. And also, let me just say, you know, the annotations could be deeper, but you're doing this work, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's leading to this graph, dude. Dude, look at this graph. Man, that's what it's supposed to look like. And then at some point, I'll encourage you to think about changing your preferred rating to the CFC. I think that's what the Canadians call it, the CFC. So here we go. I'm feeling Kostya's in the chat, egging me on. All right, next up we got Manu. And the program has helped me a lot to have an organized way of training. The mates in 2 are definitely awesome, and I would have never tried them if it wasn't for the training program. Also, I've had the opportunity to practice my English with a bunch of people. Cool, all right. So, 1414, let's follow Manu here, using the FIDE rating. And now, we'll see how they got here. 109 hours. Fantastic. This is the work I'm talking about. Let's look at that rating graph again. That's a nice rating graph, huh? Okay. So, and then to get here, they did this work due to 109 hours, 106 points. And that's kind of like at this 1400, 1500, it's about maybe a point per hour. So that makes a lot of sense. Almost 0 openings. Great. And middle games and strategy, looking good. Tactics, look at that dude. He's doing the Polgar mates, man. Crushing it. Okay, let's look at a game. Dude, Manu's doing the work. You do the work, it's going to come. You do the work, and it's going to come, my friends. All right, let's go. This looks like an OTB out of Madrid. Now, I was thinking about this the other day. Let me just a little aside. I grew up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Maybe Manu can answer for this for me. Everybody whose name was Tapia, Pacheco, Salazar. It was like 6 or 7 names. Then when we go to Spain, we get all these fancy names like Berdasco and stuff. Now, is it just because the poor people were the ones that left Spain, and then the other names, the fancy Spanish names, those are like, the names of the upper class, or who used to be the upper class, or whatever? Anyway, that's my question of the day. So here we go. D4. Fine. Okay. Now, it's possible to take this pawn. I'm not a huge fan, just because I feel like this pawn is better than this pawn. But okay. Boom, boom. Good. Now, white probably has a sense of what's going on. Actually, we can go ahead and say white is playing a setup which definitely is a little dangerous for us to meet, okay? And we have some simple problems where our bishop on c8 is not great, and we got to fix it, okay? What's the problem with bishop d6? You guys know what I'm going to say. It's because you're wasting time. So we need a better move, and there's a couple plans that we can consider here. First, before we do so, we should say to ourselves, well, white is going to either play c4 or at some point knight e5. And it can become dangerous. And that's one of the reasons that I don't want to take, because when we take, we give white the connection to the e5 square on the e file. Okay, let's think about this half a second. I think our default move should be bishop d7. Bishop d7, because we don't know yet whether it's knight e5, c4, or queen e2. And bishop d7 will always be useful. Okay, so bishop d6, c4. Okay. Snip, snap. Good. Now I want to give credit to white. Maybe white's a higher rated player or something, but white is showing some good understanding of the game. And we have ourselves some griefs here. b6, knight e4. Yeah, I don't believe in that move, knight e4. So, if I'd be very happy with white in this position. Let's flip it for a second. And the thing to understand about this is, and it'll be a little bit hard at first, is that white has the center with these beautiful hanging pawns, owns the center. And that will make it difficult for black to get their pieces out. The pieces will be knocking over each other's heads a little bit. So white should strive not to exchange the minors. Not. Okay? Now, in this position, there's loads of building moves. Rook c1, rook e1, queen e2. All of these moves are good, and we can think about d5 right away. I don't know. Chesscapades, thank you for rating us. Manu says he was 1,800 FIDE. Yeah, but crushing 2,000 during the tournament. Manu, so cool that you're here. Yeah. So if we flip it over, knight e4 is definitely incorrect. Knight takes, bishop takes. Now you played f5. I don't think you should take. Yeah, I don't want him to take. So first of all, on bishop c2, one simple question to ask is, how is he going to defend against knight a5? I don't know. Bishop b1, also, I guess, knight a5. But at least it's not stuck on the c file. I'm just thinking if knight a5 here, pop, and we have the bishops, are doing their thing. We'll probably play bishop a2 next with some very good compensation. And then on e5, worst case scenario, we take the thing. Right? Okay. So bishop c6, queen c6, queen b3. I'm not convinced. So now you played bishop c7, and I don't like it. The move I'm interested in is what's going to happen on bishop a6. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe here. But then our bishop can move to f4 with taco. So I would rather be black, I think. I think I'd rather be black in this situation. If we win the c4 square, that's it. And our bishops are strong. So, sorry, Manu, you don't be down on yourself. You actually played some good moves. You're playing this higher rated opponent. And honestly, f5, I think it's a good move. It was not immediately apparent to me that it was going to be a good move, but I think it's definitely a good move. And white needs to really think about what's happening in their life after f5. I don't think they responded great because bishop a6 looks so strong here. Now, when you play bishop c7, the first thing you should say to yourself is, Kraai is going to yell at me because of time. That's why I'm going to yell at you. And white says, okay, you give me time, I'm going to open the position bows. Boom, boom. Queen e8. Now we can definitely say it doesn't look good. d6. Good. Queen c3. And I guess we're hosed. So that all fell apart very quickly. And I want to stress, it was, strategically speaking, we can talk about tactics all day long, but strategically speaking, it was the fact that in this position, you lost a full tempo with bishop c7. And I'm going to guess that your concern was you were thinking about c5, hitting this bad boy, rather than d5, which makes more sense because it opens up this bishop, right? Okay. So, all right, good. No, that was a very great learning experience, good game to look at. And one thing to also just notice is you had the experience of facing an opening system. where this thing is sometimes called the Zuckertort. And it's a setup that you can sometimes even play with colors reversed. And you can see here, especially after we've played CD, that white has a pretty good grip on the position and our bishop on C8 is poor, right? And it's the loss of time that's crushed you, because actually, let's just say, it was this one, the first move, that put you in a bad way, and that was the next one, right? So in this position, you got to develop either b6, bishop b7, or just bring your dog out. Just bring him out. See what he does. We don't even know yet what he's going to do. There's loads of moves white could do after bishop b7, but we got to move it. This is a great comment, okay? Listen to this. This is what Manu says. This is very normal to face in Spain because the Rey Enigma recommends it. I love the Rey Enigma, dude. You guys don't know what the Rey Enigma is? You gotta go Google that. That'll be a rabbit hole for you. Okay. Good, Manu. And now, oh my gosh, you guys, we got the star of the show now. Star of the show's coming up. One of the mini stars, let's say. And that is Krabby Krab. Let me just tell you the story. So it is an ambition of myself and the dojo to have more high school kids in the program. In particular, because I remember being a high school kid and just having to make it up as I went along, right? I would read books, I would study, but it was all just me doing my own thing. And what did I do? Like any chump, I was spending way too much time on openings. I didn't understand about thinking deeply. No, I was just doing my own, just totally on my own. So if I had a structure to be like bows, these are the things you got to do. Oh my gosh, great. Also, like the coach that we had was just some math teacher who let us use his room at lunchtime, And if that teacher, they don't have to even know anything about chess. They'll be like, okay, I've got this training program. I'm going to set you guys up. You guys can do the sparring, and I don't have to be a genius. I just have to facilitate you guys doing the program. Boom. Anyways, I bring it all up. Krabby Krab has got a great goal, and that is probably not this year, but next year he can qualify to this thing called the Maryland Sweet 16, where the top 16 kids face it off, and the winner gets to play in the Denker. Denker's a beautiful tournament. Top high school player from each state goes to play. I won that thing twice back in the day. Great experience to meet other kids doing their thing. Great. Let's read what Krabby Krab says. Greetings, Sensei. Most of the work that I actually recorded is listed under 1600, 1700 because I used to use my online ratings. Now I've realized the truth that online ratings are fake and mean nothing, so I've switched to my USCF. What has been most helpful in reaching 1530 USCF is four things. By the way, he just crushed a tournament, dude, this last weekend. Not being sick during the tournament, good. Getting a coach and playing 2 OTBs a month, good. Reading simple chess and part of Evaluate like a grandmaster. Extensive opening sparring with my friends who are USCF expert. Great. Okay, let's check it out. So first of all, let's check Great Graph. Likes crabs. Wants to become a professional bagpipe, bookbinding, chess, and karate teacher. Nice. Okay. So if we go activity, look, he's done all these different cohorts. It's really weird. He's skipping around a little bit. But I think I understand some of the logic behind it. Okay. Now, if I go back one, he's doing some good work. And we're going to click on the tactics. Bulgar mates in 2. Dude has gone up to 1471. 1471 is a magical number. That's when they get especially hard. Okay. Now I want to see some of these games that dude is playing. So let's look at Anonymous Woman 1600. Okay, fine. And then this is incorrect, right? because white just gave you a tempo, and the knight on g3 is not particularly well placed. So the thing we should yell at you here is not about knowing opening schmopening. It's that you are a Caro player and you deliberately killed your bishop. The game's not over. In fact, you're still doing fine, but there's no need for that. And definitely h5, frisky. g6, though, should be your default move in this position. Okay. Frisky. Thank you. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And now you played bishop f8. Right. I believe in your position after king f8, even if this is not exactly what you wanted when you woke up this morning. Yeah. I don't like that one. Now you got this terrible bind, and our development went to naught. Sensible. It's okay. It's interesting that Krabby Crab thinks that this could be equal. White's definitely better. I think maybe Krabby Crab is thinking that he can deliver a knockout blow with the rook g8. And maybe he can, but white should be able to stop that business. Knight f4. Okay. Good. Now I think we should say what you think white should have played. That's a very natural looking move, for example. I think you're toast, honestly, after a move like rook a d1. Your pieces are all nasty. So good move. Obviously, white's lost the thread. Yeah. Rook g8, I love this tactic you give, right? In general, too, we should just say rook g8 is your active move, so that's the one that we should look at. Plus, when your opponent loses time, by the way, if you've been listening to this show, you know that at this level, even 1600, they're going to be losing lots of time, like white has done here. That's when we start thinking, especially about how can I be active when they start losing time like this. Frisky because you haven't solved the problem of your bishop on d6. For my little money, I would much prefer her to play bishop e4. I don't have that much money, but that's what I would have preferred. f4. And now you kind of have to go for it, don't you? You kind of have to go for it whether we like it or not. So bishop b2. Now you're in trouble. Good. Okay. Now, I agree with you. I think this is frisky. So as long as we deliver a check on c5 or something, there's going to be some problemitos in the casitos. So a6. Now, what's weird about a6 is that the bishop wasn't necessarily well placed on b5 to begin with, right? So whatever opportunities we missed here, we're just moving the bishop somewhere nice. So you talk about queen c8. That's at least hard for white has some questions to answer for herself. You know, this queen c5 is going to be a hell of a drug. Also, maybe bishop a3. I don't know. You know, there's questions being asked here. Okay. So, a6. Okay. And then you analyze bishop takes e6. Good. And the point, I guess, is to say that when you play queen c5 later, the bishop on b7 will be hanging. Krabby Crab, I just want to say this is great analysis. Now, something I want you guys to see is that as we move up the ladder, we're starting to see people give really good tactical variations and evaluations, right? And the thing I want us to see about that is that there's a rule that I'm putting forward in this book we're publishing, How to Analyze Your Game. And the rule is this: if you were not seeing it in your games, by it I mean, say, tactical variations, it means you aren't seeing it, excuse me, if you aren't seeing it in your analysis, you aren't seeing it in your games, right? So here, oh, he's looking. Now, obviously, he missed some stuff during the game, but now next time, the analysis in his games is going to be much stronger. That's a hell of a move, Krabby Crab. Yes, sir. Ooh, whoa. That's a fancy thing. That's a fancy thing. Here's an interesting slip that his attack is done. We're always talking about dudes. Could we also... We're saying that ED doesn't work, huh? Because I just want to say that on ED, even ED, we're just taking all the coconuts. Isn't that a lot of coconuts? I think that's a lot of coconuts. To me, that looks like a lot of coconuts. Okay, so bishop d4. And then... in fact, that bishop could have gotten taken. Yeah, bishop c5. On bishop c5, I guess we need to at least think about knight f6. Right. So actually, I did this video recently where I talked about this experience I first have in myself, and I've seen it in other players, and this is a good time to talk about it, and that is the fact that we often trust our opponents. So what's going on? White is just assuming that rook takes d4, queen h1 is going to be some terrible mate. And as Krabby Crab has pointed out, no, you can take the thing, man. You can take the thing. Yeah, so an example of trusting, that looks good. That looks good, I think. Just wondering if there's a slightly easier way. Good, and now you're winning. Now we're going to see Krabby Crab's technique here. f5 looks like a loss of time to me. Bishop e5 might be the most technical here, saying that we just want to trade the knight just to make life easy. Good move. Let's bring the rook in somewhere. Okay. Good move. Good move. Fine. Fine. Good. Good. Making it easy. Krabby Crab. All right, buddy. When I play that e6 line of the Claro, I need to accept that my light square bishop. But dude, if you don't have to play e6, don't play e6. Yeah. Okay, these are great notes, though. I'm going to feature this game. Boom. Oh, Krabby Crab, dude, I'm pumped for you, buddy. This was not only a great graduation, but this is a great annotation. And also, I think it was very courageous to demote yourself and to say, I want to focus on the over-the-board rating. And that's ultimately right for that Sweet 16 next year. That's what it's going to be about. Dude, can you tell us in the chat, what do you think you need for the rating next year? Just to qualify by rating. I know there's other ways to qualify, but what do you need for the rating to qualify? And let's go further. So next up, we've got a couple heroes of the dojo. More heroes of the dojo coming up. This is Trevor, first of all. And Trevor started fairly recently. And we do have a game. It's a little bit hard to see exactly what's going on here. So he's done some work. Okay, but he has submitted a game. So let's check out Trevor's game. Now, whenever it says inaccuracy, e5 was best, what that tells me is that someone had, I think it's either Chess.com or Lichess, do the game review. And let's just say it's pretty funny. D5, do I despise the move? Is there a cult of despicableness around the move D5? Yes. But does that mean that the computer should tell us inaccuracy E5 was best for the Scandi? Don't let it do it, buddy. Don't let it do it. Weird, right? Okay. C6. What would be appropriate? Knight F6. Develop and defend. Okay, you're doing great. Okay. Okay. I'll give a shout out to King D7 here. Good move. They don't know how to develop. That's fine with us. H6, there's no need. Play rook C8 so you can play knight C7 next, right? You need to improve this knight, so we need to go bang, and then we need to go bang. Good move. Don't know what it does. Very good. Actually, I just want to say, Trevor, great that you fixed your bad piece. Very impressive. So many players would just let it hang out on A6. Even players higher rated than this, right? Much higher rated. They just like, oh, I'll figure it out later. No, you got to figure it out now. Okay. Backs it up. Good, good. Okay, what's a trade? Mistake. The king should stay in the middle. Now, B5 is a mistake, and this is where you got to be careful with the computer because you want to understand why it's a mistake. It's very common to play what you're kind of intuitively getting at with the minority attack. But in this position, white has this move available to them. And as long as they have that move, we do not want to be giving the knight the square. So for example, here, knight C5 is a problem. Good. And you can see here, white is better, right? I like A takes B4 myself, and then they got the file. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. They're terrified of the minority attack. Can I just give a shout out? Our opponents are afraid of what we're doing, and we are guilty of this too. And A3 is like terrified of B4 happening when it's not really on the radar yet. F3, okay. Knight D7, very good. Well, we got an obvious question about this knight B6. And that's knight C5. So this scares me. B3 is the threat. I think that means that B4 is the only move. But then I'm also terrified here with check to the miserable king. And there's some uncomfortableness that I am facing here. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't want to let that rook anywhere close to the 7th rank. F5, I'm not sure I get it. Knight D7. Okay, so because you couldn't think of what to do. Excellent, right? And you undid it. Fantastic. Rook E1. Just say king D6 would just be the normal-ish looking move, but okay, rook F8, no problem. Okay, good. And now let's spank him with B4. Nice. It's a huge mistake. Is it really a huge mistake? All I know is it looks like you're getting active here. And it's your one chance because he's about to push you away. Again, you're using the computer. I get it. It's your first annotation. Fine. But try to just realize we want to understand it ourselves. I don't think you're doomed in any way. This one's poor because you're encouraging knight d3 later. But with rook a4, ab, let's say knight d3, bc3, you are fine. And you have achieved what you wanted with this whole business with the pawn, namely a weakening of this square. Yeah, you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Okay. So king g3 was a mistake, yeah. And now you got it again. You're back alive. And then we have the knight f4 problem. But it's not over yet. Ha ha ha. Rook a3. Good analysis there. Maybe an evaluation would help. King f7. We should consider king f6. Well, it's a complicated position, by the way. It really is. Okay. There we go. Knight f8. Bang. Well, you're playing some good chess here, I guess. No, that's not good. Thank you very much. Blunder, rook e3 was best. Let me just say, though, knight e6 is on principle a very mad move, simply because of this knight takes e6 business. I.e., white should be trying to create some kind of drama with a move like rook e5. Okay, so knight e6. Now again, this computer is killing you because you're not able to find it for yourself. Rook a4, rook a6, king f7, 3, rook d4, rook a5. Check to the miserable king. Good move, king f4. Rook takes h3. I didn't want to see it. Let me just go back half a second. In terms of trying to squeeze the last little bit out of this, it's technically a draw, but we could definitely play on. This would be nicer, because now white will at least have to contend with questions about the king being poor. In the game, you free the king. I don't know about any of this, do I? Check. Good move. So king e5 was bad. He needed. Wait a second. Kraai, you need to shut up. You need to shut. The king, I think, needed to go back. This is actually a really fun variation. Look at this, because now g5 exclam, and unless I'm losing my mind, it looks like that pawn on g4 is actually. No, it can't be true. It can't be true. So, right, he could save it by playing king e4, rook g3. Are you sure about this, buddy? Maybe I'm not sure. No, this looks terrible. Oh my gosh, no, this is terrible. And then if king e5, like it happens, we give him a check to the miserable. King d6, we're just going to believe in your position because the king is way out to lunch. Rook e4, for example. So then check to the miserable. Beautiful. Now, it's not sure we're done yet. I guess he's still holding this thing. Wait a second. I want to make sure. Oh, maybe he's still holding. It's unfair. He blew it, buffs. Ooh. Good move. I think it's a good move. Wait, it's not a good move. We needed to play king g6 and then h5. And then that's a known winning and pawning, king and pawn endgame. So now we lose a tempo, and maybe we're still winning, but he needs to try king e4. Yeah, we're still winning with h5, just by the hair on our chinny chin chin, because we'll go pop, 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 pop. That isn't it. Good moves. Someone has done the dojo training and knows this pawn endgame. Okay, Trevor. Great, buddy. Great. Let me turn on this light. Again, for you guys out there, this is first analysis. I'm not going to yell it too much. The computer, whenever you see this blunder, rook a7 was best, you know that was a computer writing that. Let me check the... Okay, so, boom, boom. Man, oh man, I got to get done with this, Pops. Kraai, you've been at this for hours. I probably have already lost my mind. Okay, here we go. So, how much do we got left here? We got Krabby Crab, Trevor, MD Knight. We can hopefully finish this. So, the dojo has been most useful for making me focus. MD Knight, by the way, OG of the dojo. Focus on the work of getting better and not necessarily with the numerical result at the end. Work better than results. My confidence is boosted by the high quality work and format that the dojo recommends, which has shown itself lately in my OTB game. I've realized that I need to continue to work on my calculation and visualization, as well as to continue to play longer time control games and annotations. Sounds ridiculous, but I feel like I'm seeing the game deeper, entering more challenging positions with confidence and reaping the rewards. Arguably, the program has made my relationship with chess healthier, as I am no longer struggling with the late-night bullet or blitz binges, but instead enjoying the beauty of master games, calculation training, and analysis. Okay, and the Dojo Liga Blitz team. Nice. Okay, let's look. Beautiful. Gone to USCF, 1410. Look at that. That's a nice graph. 1460, 1410 normalized. How come I'm not following MD Knight? Okay, so activity. We'll see how they got there. Lots of hours, lots of work, lots of tactics, dude. Ooh, look at that. Mates in two. 1470. Got up to that scary 1471 and said, maybe I'll pause. Maybe I'll pause for the bows. Okay. Now, we got some games. No. Oh, MD Knight, the shame. The shame, MD Knight. You got to give us some games, bows. Tell you what, MD Knight. When you get those games done, you just tell me, and we'll look at it on stream, buddy. How about that? All right. So, again, MD Knight has been with us. He's been cranking. He's been cranking with the dojo for a while, so really cool to see some progress. Okay. Next up, we've got Andrew Rimmer. Andrew Rimmer was in my class that we just did. I thought it was a great class. Mentioned earlier, we just finished, and it was 5 weeks, 5 dudes, and 1 game a week. Went really well. So, and Andrew really put together a great annotation. So 1409, nice, dude, nice. Okay, and we'll go back. Oh, Andrew, remember, how did it happen? Did you go, you went from 11 to 12 to this? Definitely concentrating on the games and analysis. Boom. So, this is the game that he annotated, and I will say that if you guys want an annotation of a good annotation, that's the one to look at. He also collaborated with the people in the class, beyond me looking at it, and him looking at it. He had a discussion, a convo with the people in the class before. So here we go. So rated classical game. Okay. Here we go. Okay. You're doing okay. Right. So the issue is now black has a French structure and we're concerned that our center is going to fall apart. So e6 is the safe move. Maybe they should have considered knight c6. And now we have, as we said, we have a central problem here. Okay. It felt like this was a bad move, but with no better options. I had to take my medicine and see if I could claw back anything later to save a lost game. Okay. So, what we need to say, Andrew, is first of all to recognize that this h3 was a natural thing where you are like, oh, I get to win the bishop. Not recognizing that black has this French structure thing where he's getting rid of his bad bishop. And then here, we need to say that bishop d3 isn't it. And you do it, right? So the point is, we have to recognize, oh my God, my center is in drama. I got to do something. And then in the notes, try to say what it is you think was better. First thing comes to mind is bishop e3, knight d2. If we're truly desperate, we can go ahead and give away our good bishop. Oh, it's unfortunate. Okay. Good. Doesn't look right, does it? 92, good move. 97, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Bang. Ooh, and we won our piece. Nice. Nice. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. Andrew Rimmer jumped 3 cohorts. I think I was in the wrong cohort and reluctant to graduate, he says. Okay, sorry, I was pressing the wrong button. Knight f3, that's got to be correct, the Mundo. Castle's good. e5. Rook ac1. Great move. Great move. Other players would be terrified of e4. There's no need to be terrified, though. We have all kinds of stuff on e4. At least I'd like to believe that we have all kinds of stuff. e4, bishop e4. Good. Good nose. f5. The other guy's trying to force it through. And what is he not doing? Not developing their stuff. Okay, Andrew, now I'm going to yell at you. Bishop e2. Nobody. No. It's time to hurt this person. Let's start with bishop c5. Let's just see where the queen goes. Let's just see where the queen goes, and then we'll figure it out, because we're doing great. And we want to persecute this person. Bishop e2 doesn't do it. Oh my God, b6. Take it easy. Bishop h6 would be a good move here. Good move. Thank you. Frisky, but I think I like it. Good move. Good move. No, queen c7's fine. Rook on the 7th. Now we're going to start working him a little bit. Good move. No one understands. We understand, but we don't. Now, notice, we're not in a hurry to take. And you kind of note that here. But again, tell us what you think you should have done. King f1, bishop b5. These are the things that come to mind. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay. Okay, so notice that with knight d2, you're actually allowing black to play e4. The problem that black has here is it's not so easy to know what to do next. Maybe it's not so easy for you either, but, you know, we can, yeah. It's honestly, you're winning, but it's technical. And I don't have I'm going to go ahead and say I don't have huge problems with the way you're playing this knight c4. He should definitely play knight b5. This is a horrendous move. That's also a horrendous move. And now a3 I'm not thrilled with. What do we want? f3. Now it might seem like ridiculoso. However, the point is we have blockaded these pawns. They aren't going anywhere. And the way to win is we go here, here, and then we just casually start saying, Baus, you will eventually have to move your king. And then I'm going to take you, Baus. I'm going to take you. Good move. There it is. Bishop d5. I think you can do it this way. Very good. And good. a4. Welcome to the dojo. Yeah, welcome to the dojo, my friend. Now all the pawns are going to fall. Oh, it's nice. It's very nice. Thank you very much. Very nice, Andrew. A very enjoyable game. Yeah. And one of the lessons that you can take from this is about how in the French structure, they want to get rid of the dark square bishop, and they want to, it's like the only reason you might live in a French structure is, or the main reason you might live is drama against that d4 pawn, right? And kind of in a cool way, black just lost their mind, didn't appreciate the pieces on d4. You held it together, boom, you got it. You got it. Okay, Andrew. Nice, dude. I think Andrew is actually signed up. Hold on, let's check. This is the class that we got going on next. And we got a couple weeks to sign up, but Andrew's in there. So that's cool. So, I even made a plea. I was like, I want at least one of you guys to come to the next class so that we have like a continuation of the good culture that we had going on in the first class. Okay, here we go. RJ had some serious tactics and calculation. Breezed through 14-15. Oh, that's definitely some breezing right there. Look at that. All right. What's going on here? Well, I was going to say a little bit of work. 59 hours is no chump change. They're reading some books on the side. Okay. Do we got some games? We do. Good. Little weird. No, you're fine. Look, notice you're also up in time. You're playing against the isolated pawn. King d7, great thought. You're doing good. What is wrong with that move? It's not developing. Boom. I kind of don't want to do it, because the king has got his own reasons to be in the center. But this is all textbook. I don't know. Yeah. You got other moves for sure. Okay, he's trying to give you a little bit of the business here. And now you do it. I think this is a good breakdown. Good. Holy moly. Hold on. I have to admit I didn't see it right away. Okay, so again, let's start here. You're doing fantastic. Your opponent's making the standard mistake of not developing. Okay, this is the position though we should definitely believe in you. And personally, I would like to play f6, right? I want to keep my king in the center. The king is an active piece. Yeah, great move, simple chess. And now if they take, I'll take with the rook. The dream of playing against the isolated queen pawn is to trade minors. So we don't want our pieces to be dominated. So this is positional mistake number one. Your opponent's already made loads of positional mistakes. That was fine. Your opponent's losing time all over the place. That's losing time as well. f6, rook c8, either one of those moves. Now, this was interesting what you did. I have to admit, I didn't immediately catch on to the fact that our pawn was hanging too. Okay. So, okay, good analysis. Rook c5. Rook c, knight takes, rook c7. It's a little bit unpleasant. Now, yeah, b6. And now, dude blunders. Okay, good. Resourcefulness. Now you might be alive. Knight c4. He's doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, though. Rook b8. Let me just always say that if you can, go the active way first. Rook b8 is passive. Rook d8, at the very least, we're sinking this rook here. I don't. That's just helping you move the knight. He's you know, he's playing with a little fire over here. He's playing with a little fire over here. Before you could have considered 93. Okay, now we make a draw. I would have played on. This guy's already, lost so much time. Who knows what's going to happen here? Who knows? But RJ, that's great that you did. Great that you're doing this work too. For anything, you're doing it. You're doing it. Okay, beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna have to. Oh gosh, I don't have that much time left. So, next up we got Geezer. This might be a performative one. No, Geezer's doing some work, so we're gonna call that a performative one. I'm moving a little faster now because I don't have that much time before I have to go get my animals. So, then we got Sahi. Most helpful part of the program. Classical game annotations. Nice. Games we must know. Making more video course on endgame knowledge and skills and how to improve this further at our level. Okay, good. So, great rating graph. 1563. Not quite there though, Baus. Not quite there. Not there yet with the graduation. Okay, let's go back. And then we got Black Mamba. Oh, look at that graph, dude. Black Mamba is crushing it. Yep, joined the program fairly recently. Got 34 points up. Boom. No games yet. Just joined the dojos. It's okay. Okay. Now, we got Abhi. Also looks like they just might have joined the dojo fairly recently. And then also here, we're not there yet. 2200, 2200, 2167 isn't there yet. Okay. So, all right, time out. Let me look at Sahi's game here real quick. Because I've found my way to have some time here. Okay, looks reasonable. So far, so good. Okay. No, both players are playing a good game. And now knight e5. Personally, I think I'd like to play rook c1, but okay, knight e5. Okay, interesting. Rook c1, good. That's where it belongs. Let's park it. There you go. Good move. Knight c5. We need to talk about DE4, I guess. I think it's okay for you, DE4, knight e4. And DC4, I guess, rook c4. Rook c8, I don't understand. Got to be a good move. Now you got to be better. Wow, beautiful, interesting position. Okay, I like this. Good. Bishop g2, I don't like. You also don't like it. You should tell us what would be better. Personally, queen f3 is more interesting to me, just intuitively. Now, look, what happened in the last series of moves? Black has a simple plan in this position. Nimzovich calls this the incinerator. That means you can't go forward. And the d4 pawn is in many ways an isolated pawn. So what we did in the last couple moves is we gave black time to set up this position. And now we have to worry about losing our pawn. Good. Good. Simple chess. Now we go back. Does queen a7? Okay, queen a7. Queen f3. Good. We would love to trade the d pawn for the c pawn. Boop, 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 boop. And now d5. Good. It's a little hot. And then I think you're right. First of all, I think, well, black should have considered ED there. Right, so ED would have been better. And now they get to play ED. And you play rook d5. And that is a terrible, terrible mistake. Whoa. So you should say what is wrong here. And that is that on king e7, it looks, well, what we should say about it is that the black king is going to be incredibly useful on d6 because it will protect and blockade this pawn. And then if black ever invades, you know, we're going to be crispy critters. Plus, we got to worry about some kind of nasty pawn break. So you definitely got lucky here. This looks like an online game. Check this out, you guys. One thing we're seeing here is that White, our boy, didn't use his time. Didn't use his time at all. And so there was so much in the game that you missed simply because you were moving too fast. And probably a lot of it had to do with being in an online environment. Okay, my friends, that's it for me. That was the biggest grad show I've ever done. I'm rating. Remember to turn off the stream, Boomer Boss, when you go. All right, I hear you. I hear you. All right, let's raid somebody. Who are we gonna raid? Who are we gonna raid? Let's raid this Diana Mirza. You guys, Dojo's doing great. I want to say, if you witness this thing, want to check it out, you can even try out the free trial thing, dude. We got the free tier. You can check it out, see if you like it. It's not expensive if you decide to join. All right, everybody, I'm going to raid. I'm out of here. It was a great graduate show.